up.
Sound check as a drummer is just boom, 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 boom for ages, and they go cool snare, bah, bah, bah. It's the most boring thing. So yeah, right. Let's put those there. And then I'll hear normal. Hey, normal stuff. Right. So that was what I was going to say. Number one rule: don't bash the stand.
No elbows.
So, because I'm so bloody loud, I believe I will be picked up regardless.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have this bit clear. So yeah, don't
Cool.
knock the stand.
Are you going to pick up on mine more than I'm going to pick up on mine? What do you think?
Hopefully you pick on yours more.
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay.
Oh, do you know what? In fact, you can introduce. So this is episode 3. Do the whole shebang that you did before. Oh, this is effort now.
Good afternoon and welcome to episode 3 of the Shaman Show. I am Shaman and this is my what's a compadre?
Compadre works.
Yeah, this is my compadre, the Fonz.
Say, it might not be afternoon where they are. It might be morning.
Oh yeah.
So obviously you got your fork.
Ooh, we got
we've
pineapple
got
in
today,
and everything.
We have some.
Oh,
Right, do you know
looking
what?
good.
Actually, this is
All the
possibly.
prep, man.
This is some of the. It takes so long to set this room up. 'Cause I had it all set up for my piano and everything.
Yeah.
been recorded
Oh,
there.
the piano was here. It's moved now,
So
isn't it?
it was there, and then it was there, and now it's there. So I'm
Yeah.
literally just every time I do a little something,
Yeah.
I reshuffle the whole room.
I could feel that it shifted a little bit when I come in. I was like, oh, something's different. It was the piano.
Well, there was also a murder.
Oh. Hold up.
So
Wait a
do you
minute.
know that? Do you know that saying? Oh, that cunt couldn't let her fly. Cunt obviously is an interchangeable word there.
Yeah.
So and so couldn't let her fly. Well, so as soon as I open that door, I don't know what it is. The flies just go choom, straight in it, right? It's obviously a recording studio. I can't have flies buzzing around a recording studio with these kind of sensitive mics.
Pick
Right?
it up.
So I tried to shoo it out. No, it weren't having any of it. I'm like, look, don't fuck about. I want you out. I'm trying to be kind here, right?
Trying to escort you out like a gentleman.
And I'm literally saying to him, no, don't. I'm literally saying, don't fuck about. I'm trying to be nice, right? Because
Yeah.
I'm setting up the room. So go on, out you go. There's a big window door thing there. Just out you go.
Yeah.
And it didn't. I'm like, all right, bang.
Play it that way.
And I fucking hit it.
Nailed him.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's really hard to see in here because it's like black on black with a lot of this stuff. It's really
Yeah.
dark. And then I couldn't see it because it was on the carpet.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, there it is. I went to get it and it got up. I was like, oh,
Motherfucker.
hello.
Back
This
from
is
the
like-
dead.
yeah, and then do you know what it did? Do you know
Standing 8 count, all right.
It flew at me. It bumped into my
Mate,
head.
little warrior.
I'm like, are you kidding me? I said, nah, mate, I ain't having it. And it landed on the wall. Went, nah, bang, game over like that.
Hammer fisted that fucker.
Picked it up. And I was like, I can't believe the cheek of the cunt.
The gall of
After
him.
I'd already hit it, it knew I could get it. And then it
You know what it is, mate? It took your kindness for a weakness. Listen, I'm glad I'm not just the only person that speaks to insects when I'm trying to get them out of my house.
Mate, that's funny, yeah.
Come on, fella. It's time to go.
Do you know what? One of my favourite tracks at the moment, it's a country song and it says, don't mistake my kindness for weakness.
Oh, wicked.
By, I can't remember the dude's name. Do you know when the trouble is on Spotify now, you just like a track and it just adds it to a thing.
You don't even have
You
to
don't
like
even
do
know
any.
you're listening to. It was only after like several tracks. It's like, who is this dude? It sounds the same. Jelly Roll. Oh mate, I love Jelly Roll.
Yeah,
Jelly
yeah.
Roll is absolutely killing it at the
Yeah.
moment. And but it's one of those things. So I had a row to fly, and I had to clean up the murder. So that's what the difference is.
It's the aftermath of the murder
And then
scene.
I was gonna say before I got sidetracked by fly murder, the pineapple is exquisite today.
Mate, it's absolutely.
This is M&S pineapple, and once it's gone, it's gone. So.
Mate, M&S, why is it so good? Why is it so good? Everything you get from M&S is just insane. You like?
It's a quality thing. They're not trying to
Yeah.
brag. They're not trying to be fancy. They're not trying to be anything but like good quality, honest food. I
Yeah.
think personally. I mean, whether or not I've just fell for the branding.
I think you're definitely an M&S guy.
100%.
100% you're an M&S guy.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like, it's quality over quantity. You can't really beat it. It's every time I go in there and get something, I'm like, why don't I just shop here forever?
And do you know what it is? It's not trying to be. It's just chicken. There you go. There's your
Yeah.
chicken. You got a chicken breast. You got chicken thighs.
Yeah.
You got chicken wings. But it's not this chicken, that chicken. It's just M&S.
Yeah.
Here's your chicken.
Do you want it? Here's the chicken.
Here's the pork.
Yeah.
Do you know? Everything's M&S. It's nothing, anything else. It's just no one's trying to compete for a plate. It's just
Yes.
if you want chicken, that's the chicken. If you want pork, that's the pork. If you want beef, that's the beef. make your choice. You
Yeah.
know, we've got the milks, but they're all made by our people.
Yeah.
And even if that is still other companies that do other stuff, they're still doing their own M&S kind of thing.
That's a great note that you say about the M&S, because like I get that vibe as well. We're not trying to be in your face, shouty, screaming, come and buy me. It's like, this is it. We do it well. If you want it, it's here. And if you don't, no problem.
But that's why they're advert.
It's got the quiet confidence.
This isn't just this is
M&S.
M&S.
When I started going in there and grabbing little things, I was like, instantly, I was like, oh, I get it now. I get why it's not just this, it's M&S this.
I've got the headphones on and you're super loud, which is really good. It's really, really good. We're about the same volume, which works really, really well.
The redemption run's begun.
I totally forgot I had them on. I was like, wow, for once I can really hear you. This is amazing. And I'm sure if anyone watched the first two, they're going to go, Shaman's got so much louder. He's been working on his confidence. He's got his red shirt on.
He's projecting. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm bringing the fire.
Sometimes, but I project in other ways. He's a cunt. No, it's you, mate. I'm sure you've heard this, right? I heard it years ago. I think it was on Tim Ferriss that I heard it.
Yeah.
And it was, if you go out today and someone's a dickhead, they're a dickhead. Mm-hmm. But if you go out today and everyone's a dickhead, you're the dickhead.
That's a good shout.
So many times I've gone, they're a dickhead, they're a dickhead, they're a dickhead. It's got to be me, man. It's got to be me.
Wait a second.
It's just today.
Common denominator. Oh, fuck. Maybe I should go back inside.
Yeah. No, literally, and that's exactly what I do. Obviously, if you've watched the first two episodes, you know I often lock myself in the house.
Smart move, man.
So, have you got anything on your notes this week? Was there anything particularly you wanted to discuss? Anything coming off of last week?
I have got one question that popped into my head. I don't know how deep we'd want to delve into that, but I have got the
bottom there is to it.
I've got the episode 3 question.
Oh, right. Okay, here we go.
So the question is, how does your household shape who you become as a man?
Oh, so obviously you're talking about growing up then.
Yes, childhood.
So first, because I'm just thinking now, my household is pretty, and then as soon as you said develop, I was like, oh, okay, it's a growing up thing. How does the household develop as a man?
And I've got a little elaborator on there.
Okay, go on, do the elaborator.
What keys / rooms, this is psychological rooms, by the way, so we'll elaborate on this, were you allowed to enter? So as we talk about the 4 quarters, which is the king, the inclusive carer.
Let's just say they don't know. So let's do a quick summation of
so the
4 things, because I was thinking that.
Yeah, so just very briefly, the king is responsible for just order in the world. It's maintaining a cosmos, which is an A-OK world, to fight off against chaos, against bad things that are happening. So it's the place where things flourish and grow.
But the king himself doesn't fight?
No, he doesn't do. The king just is. He has the vision that people follow. He's the leader, but he's not necessarily the doer. That would come in with the warrior. The warrior is the doer. He's governed by aggression. He's responsible for discipline, inner fortitude, competence, and he lives in the realm of struggle and combat. It's also where life and death, the balance of life and death is in the warrior quarter as well. Then you've got the magician. That's the thinker. That's also the person responsible for initiating and guiding others. Self-reflection is definitely an aspect of the magician. So anyone that's up inside their mechanical thinking brain, and also being able to see over the horizon and also see the bullshit in other people as well. That is the magician. So the trickster's the active pole of the magician. And if you're able to see the pompousness in people, or the self-inflation, I'm the best, in people who claim authority over others, then your magician's definitely online. And last is the lover. That's the archetype of love, appreciation, joy, embodiment, all things that feel nice and fluffy. But if you only have that, then many problems will come. So those are the 4 quarters. So the question is, which keys were you given as a child to enter certain rooms? So I'm going to give you an example of my childhood very quickly. I was given the keys to the throne room for the king. I was given the position of the leader because I was the eldest. Regardless of how insecure I was or how unable to act I was, my mother understood that my moral compass was steady and I would try and keep things calm and peaceful. So I was given, much like Leonardo from the Ninja Turtles, yes, I was given the keys to the king and the magician, the smart one. But I wasn't given the keys to the warrior. They were reserved for my brother. So anger and things like that weren't tolerated by my mom. in a sense for me, whereas the others.
But you're the oldest.
Yeah, I'm the oldest, and so I was the one with all the responsibility. That would definitely be the king as well. So those were the 2 rooms that I was allowed to kind of be in. The lover too, yeah, but the warrior was
And at
definitely a
that
room.
age, the lover, because a lot of people, and I still do it, I hear the word lover and I think sex.
Yeah,
So at that
It's-
age,
it's-
it's the
isn't it?
creativity side of things, is it?
Yeah.
Is that what the lover is?
it's
at
it's
that age?
the ability to appreciate the beauty in things in life,
Okay.
gratitude, enjoyment, pleasure,
Oh, okay.
in all forms of
Enjoyment,
pleasure.
fun games,
Yeah.
just being able to dick around a little bit.
Sex being one of those, with pleasure and connection, but also connection with other people, connection with humanity, connection with nature.
Connection, right,
So that's
okay.
definitely in the lover quarter, along with pleasures. Pleasures could be sex, but it can also be stuff in your face with Pringles
I
while
was
you're playing
thinking more
computer
like
games.
when you're younger, 8, 9 years old.
Oh,
Wow,
no.
you're getting late, 8, 9 years old.
He started,
Damn, man.
He was a lover. He started early.
He's the lover. He's getting his like shaggy moves on in the mirror, like singing into the hairbrush. Oh yeah. Okay, cool. So cool.
yeah.
Carry on.
So essentially, yeah, that's the question. Which areas were you allowed to occupy and which ones were you locked off from? Because what seems to happen, especially with multiple siblings, there's certain areas that you're not allowed to enter, or if you tread over into those territories, your parents will kindly move you out of the way because someone else is occupying that territory. And it's a subconscious thing. It's not something necessarily that you actively do.
Yeah. Parents don't sit down and go, right, so
yeah.
there is these 4 quadrants.
Yeah.
And we have 2 boys. So do we give 1 3 and 1 1? Do we give 4 and 0? I mean, how do we divvy it up? You know,
Bill, how are we chopping this up?
And then they like flick round the fingers and have sex and ding, do you know what I mean? Like that's.
Tell you what, we'll make a third and we'll give him that room.
Yeah, that's kind of not how it works. So for me, for sure, as soon as you're saying it all in like that, the king would have been a place I couldn't go.
Okay.
Because leading in that sense, like when you're ill and in hospital, you're a burden, you're looked after, you can't be depended on to be sturdy and this and this. So I had the warrior, magician and the lover.
Can I just interject and ask a quick question?
Yes.
How was your household structured as far as siblings? How many siblings
So I
have you
had
got?
one brother,
how...
2 years older.
Two
Two
years
school
older.
years.
So you were the youngest.
Yeah, I was the younger brother. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
We had like a cousin that, well, we still have a cousin, but we would look after him at most weekends, and he was a year older than my brother, so he was 3 years older than me, and he and I were like sort of best mates, and he again would never be a leader. He was, I guess he was the warrior and the lover. He wasn't the magician either. He had quite severe learning difficulties.
Okay, yeah.
As a result of his mum drinking and drugging her way through pregnancy.
Oh, wow.
I mean, not that she did it specifically through pregnancy.
Yeah.
She just did it and didn't stop.
Okay, yeah,
She was
yeah,
not like, I'm pregnant. I must start heroin.
I'm not here to slow down.
Literally, like,
Yeah, I'm
I
not
mean,
slowing down
oh
for
no, another one. You know,
Yeah.
is that sort of thing?
Yeah.
So he and I, we would be very much doing things like connecting with nature, going out finding frogs, things like that. So while he was my cousin, he was, in a sense, for the duration, and I want to say up to 5 years, but probably not much past that, if it was.
Yeah.
Then he was more brotherly in that sense.
Okay,
at
so
that time.
so while you were really young, he was much more of an elder because of the gapping, and then
No,
it kind of
he
came
was
up, or
actually
was he?
more of a younger to me.
Oh,
I would
okay,
say.
yes,
Even
because
though he
you
was
said-
3 years older.
you
but
said,
because,
sorry,
yeah,
his learning difficulties, etc.
Exactly. It was
Sorry,
just,
that one.
There were certain things like, for me, I was also highly magician or
Yeah.
highly magical, however you want to put it. Also, I was thinking earlier,
Super brain.
when you said pompousness, I was like, is it pomposity?
Pomposity.
I don't know.
That needs to be slightly straight into a musical. The pomposity.
I'll make a note of it. So for him, he was very much more a warrior lover.
Yeah.
But when he was with us, it was just about connecting with nature, connecting with family.
That's awesome.
He didn't have to worry about anything. When he went back to Hackney and he lived there, then it was warrior all the way, pretty much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, he
Was
got
that
a break for
was that down to his environment as well?
100%.
Yeah, and obviously you've got the family and then the environment, but depending on where your family grows up, your family itself will be impacted by the environment that it's inside. So it's almost like a
lot
Russian
of that
doll
side
of
the family
circumstances.
had family taken away due to not being able to care for the family.
Okay,
so
wow.
He lived. So my uncle, I told you about him last week.
Yeah.
That I was watching him in the hospital bed.
Yes.
The man came in and smashed the cup.
Yeah.
So that uncle was his dad. And he was a Hell's Angel.
Okay.
And so he died at 36 from liver failure due to just drinking too much beer.
Wow,
basically.
36.
And it wasn't spirits, it was beer. It was like just drinking beer. And so he, obviously, as you can imagine, would just have to get so smashed to die at 36.
Yeah.
Liver failure.
Yeah.
So that was his father and his mum. I can't remember who she was, but possibly also a Hell's Angel or one of the kind of crew.
In with the biker gang. Yeah.
And so my nan, the one with the bitch, she looked after my cousin.
Oh, wow.
And she essentially kind of raised him in that way. But then obviously we'd take him at the weekends.
So you most definitely would have got that warriorness from your nan through the trickle down as well, 1000%. From
And
hearing about you
living
now.
on that estate, mate. I tell you what, like when I went to visit him, it is a rough place. Luckily, again at the time, now, funnily enough, I'm super chill, and I'll tell you another story about that in a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just very aggressive, very on the forefront, like anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I fit right in there, and no one fucked around.
Yeah.
And you know, I remember leaving the first time I left. It was like him, his missus, his 2 kids. He had like 6 months old, 2 big dogs that he had no control over.
Oh, really?
But everyone around, you know, it was like literally there his protection, and living in a little studio flat, no bigger than this, really.
Holy crap.
And I remember just leaving like crying. I was like, mate, what kind of, you know, how can you live like that? It is. I mean, literally. Yeah. You living on an estate like that in Hackney. I mean, warrior.
Yeah.
Your heckles are up, or hackles are up. I think non-stop, like 24/7.
So when he came to you in your brother's home, and you said you went out in nature, that was him finally getting his keys to the lover.
He could just
to
relax
enjoy
and
you know,
put
the sword down,
hang out, exactly that. So I had that, and so while I had my own warrior shit going on, it wasn't like the rough streets like he had. It was, you know, like a whole different thing. So yeah, so for me, the king, weirdly at home, I wasn't in that quarter at all. But funnily enough, everywhere else I went in the world, people would put me there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I wouldn't even try and go. People would just put me there.
And it's commonplace as well that the parents will not give the youngest the king.
And it also made sense that my brother had it. Like he's you know, even now he has that role in the family. Yeah. Because he's better at that role.
Yeah. The sensible one will usually get those keys.
Warrior sense of going out and working,
100%.
Warrior sense of fighting, that's all me.
Yeah.
You know? And then you got the lover sense for him. He connects in a very family kind of way.
Yeah.
But he's not creative in any way, shape or form. He hasn't got any musical bone in his body.
Yeah.
You know, there's these kind of things. He's got his own element of magician,
so his love would be through connection more so than creativity.
Like that, for sure. Yeah. So I was all about the creativity. His connection's always through church. It's always a church connection.
Oh, wow.
Either that or sport. That so when he was in high school, he made his friends, he got his respect and, like, let's say status, if you want to call it like that. He got that through sport.
It's a great place to get it as a young man in school.
And do you know what? He was so good that when he was in year 5, so year 11, they would call it, he was playing for the first team, so that was year 13.
Yeah.
So he was, year 11 playing for the best because he was so athletic. He was so good at football, so not only did he play for the rugby, he played for the football as well. And he was always, you know, up there doing rugby, football, or athletics. Like some sort of sprinting, it would be up to 400 metres, you know, would be his thing.
Oh, wow.
And
so it makes sense why he smashed the 3 peaks then.
Yeah. He's the sort of guy, if he eats and trains, he'll get big, and if he doesn't eat and cuts weight, like, he'll trim down.
Oh, so he's got good genetics as a mesomorph.
Really good genetics. So that's, you know, out he and I, he's got the wicked genetics in that sense.
Yeah.
And so, he's just got the good, healthy, reliable body that is just sort of a workhorse in many respects. And he's done ultra marathons and marathons. So the year he turned 30, he wanted to do 30 marathons, 30 half marathons, 30, let's say 10Ks, 35Ks, like just that whole thing. But because his son came along, I don't think he completed the whole thing. Yeah. But he completed most of it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
He was going to smash it if his son.
Yeah, you know, he's the sort of person, he can go to work, and then on his lunch break he could quickly bust out a 10K, have his lunch, quickly shower.
Wow. Oh, so he's got that psychological workhorse as well.
Yeah. So his warrior, like I say, is a very different warrior.
Yeah.
But he's got he and I have that same work ethic.
Yeah.
And the same kind of drive, the same kind of whatever we do it to that highest degree.
That competence.
Competence as well.
Yeah.
But it's just in different things. Like out in the garden doing anything practical is useless.
Yes.
It's hilarious.
There's so many different areas that can be covered. Do you know what I mean? That's why it's so hard to be good everywhere.
Like, for example, put him on a phone call and trying to... I was very good at that, but now I just start shouting. Do you know? But yeah, so there's certain things that he is very, very good at.
Yeah.
That I have absolutely no time for. Just no... Oh, mate, I would rather blow my brains out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he's very, very good at a lot of that sort of thing. Lots of admin-y type stuff. He's very good with that sort of thing, and I can't stand that. You know, I'd rather dig tons in the garden.
Yeah.
You know, that's why my back hurts.
Yeah.
But then my brain will work in other ways. But so yeah, in many respects we're very different, but in other respects we're very, very similar as well. So it's quite interesting.
Yeah, I've got another question just to follow up. Was there a point where you, whether you were consciously or subconsciously, let your brother hold a certain energy for you, or did he let you hold an energy? So let's say the energy of the warrior in a sense of combative. Like, obviously your brother is a follower of God. He's very by the book.
But he always knew I'd kick his ass, and I remember there was one.
No, I don't mean against each other.
Oh, right,
I mean just generally holding, holding that energy of being the fighter, or a certain aspect.
No, he just wasn't. He's just not aggressive.
Oh, that's
like,
fine.
and that's so funny. You know that story. Like, you know, my brothers fight, but I can't remember what he done, what I done. I just remember he was chasing me. He was always much bigger than me as well. Like, always much bigger than me. I mean, he's obviously older anyway.
Yeah.
So he grew old, but. When he was in primary school, he was like a freakish kind of, holy shit, he's a whole head taller than everyone else at that age. Obviously, later on, everyone caught up, and now he's not that much bigger than me. But at the time, he was always
big. Yeah.
And I did something that made him angry. I was like, oh shit, and I ran and I locked myself in the shed. And he's like banging on the shed. And again, I must have been out 4.
Yeah.
This is around the time, like I said last week, all the fights and
The
stuff
old
like
school
that,
cool
right?
memories, man.
And you know what? I just remember thinking, I'm backed into a corner. All I can do now is fight.
Yeah.
And so I just unlocked it. He pulled the door open, and I just went bang.
Oh,
Cracked him straight on the nose.
Oh.
And he was like, oh shit, and went running off. And I remember going, yes. Like, that's what you get. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and so after that, it was kind of known. Like, don't fuck
You was
around,
committed
man.
to it. Like,
there was another time, again, he annoyed me, and I pushed him into a bunch of stingers. Mate, that must have been really bad. But again, it was like, don't anger me. Don't fuck around, man, because I will go. And don't think you're going to beat me there mentally. Don't think you're going to beat me in terms of you can handle more pain. You can, like, okay, I'm going to end up in hospital because I'm going to break my leg in this fight. So what? Like, I'm going to be in and out in a day. You know, that's not going to kill me. I don't care. Like, that's my.
Is that a mentality you had from a young person as well?
Always.
Wow, that's
I will break
crazy.
your fist with my face if that's what it comes to.
Yeah.
Like, that's my mentality. Always has been.
That's crazy. Because, like, for me, that's an energy that I didn't tap into until late into my 20s. Possibly even about the age of 30. And that's after spending a decade in gyms doing martial arts as well. It was an energy that I just struggled to relate to and connect to. I could see it in others.
People do though.
Yeah.
I generally, when I look around,
Yeah.
Over the years, you know, people go, wow, you're really aggressive. I'm like, fuck yes, I am. I'm very aggressive.
Yeah.
Like, and everything about me kind of says it, you know, every look on my face when I'm not happy about it or whatever. Like, I'm really aggressive, so don't fuck around. But it is that element of, but I'm also dying inside, like real bad. If you could feel what I felt inside, you know, you'd have a face like this as well. And the reason why I am so aggressive is that kind of instant response of don't even fucking try.
I've already got enough going on.
Do you know what I mean?
Don't
and
fucking push me, kind of
don't,
thing.
Yeah, don't, because I'm not going to be reasonable. I'm gonna give you way more, and you're gonna go, oh fuck. So everything about me says fuck off.
Yeah.
For that exactly.
And that brings up a good point as well. We're saying about how did your family structure and your environment mold who you were as a person. You had a battle on the inside that also molded you.
Yeah.
Which really forced that out of you.
That was nothing to do with obviously family structure. That was to do with, you know, genetically, you know, my genes essentially trying to drown me and stop me digesting food. You know, it's trying to choke me out and starve me out. It's like I'm under siege, you know. And so, I think, you know, my mum was always much more okay with violence and is okay with that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And she never really deterred me from being that boy. Does that make sense? Like, it was never... Because she also actually always knew... It was that she never made excuses for me. It was just she always knew that I was very switched on. I had my reasons, always had my reasons. She saw me deal with doctors and stuff like that from a very, very young age and hold my own and be reasonable. So she knew then at school, if anything's up, it's not because I'm being unreasonable. It's because I've got to do what I've got to do.
Yeah, she understood.
And they couldn't quite, it doesn't quite, square peg, round hole kind of system thing. Like, look, they didn't all know. Fine. But Chris has just got to get on with what he's doing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it the Fonz at that point. And so like, that kind of idea was, so she'd go up there and like, what's the situation? Right, this is and this, and he did that. Why did he do that? Well, we said, sorry, we told him he couldn't do it, and he just did it anyway. It's like, well, why did he do that? Well, he said this. It's like, yeah, that's right.
It's really cool that your mum had like the understanding and kind of gave you the, not even giving you the benefit of the doubt. She understood your skill set and kind of what you was about, where you stood.
I would never cause trouble.
Yeah.
But trouble followed me because I had, like, again, when you're getting ill, I don't choose ill. Ill just gets me.
Yeah.
So I have to deal with it. So she saw me deal with everything really well.
Yeah.
And, not just competence, but being logical and reasonable.
While doing it.
While doing it.
Yeah.
And so she knows I'm never going to cause an issue at school.
Yeah.
But she also knows I'm not going to back down if someone starts, or if someone's being a dick, or whatever it might be. She knows exactly what I'm like.
Yeah.
But for me, most of the time, it was whoever that person was didn't know of my situation.
Yeah.
So they would just go, no. And I would go, I'm going to do what I'm going to do.
Regardless.
You got to do what you got to do. I'll see you in court, kind of thing.
Did you have the awareness to know, hey, like, I know that you don't know my situation, so while I'm not going to blow off, I'm not going to pop my lid, I'm just going to keep doing it anyway.
When they would then be combative after that, that's when I would go, right, let's fucking go.
Yeah.
Like, however that meant, let's go.
Yeah.
So if that was just meant having a row with a teacher in the hall, amount of times in school, like in secondary school, where, a teacher would start something, whatever, for whatever reason, and then I would stand my ground. Yeah. And they would be like, we're going to the headmasters. I'm like, let's go.
Yeah.
And then I remember a couple of times like...
So you never had that feeling of fear of authority?
Mate, in trouble was never a thing to me.
So that's your trickster just fucking rock on.
It's
not
just,
rock on.
Like, rock on, trickster son. I never called it that, but yeah. So... It was more like I've got to do what I've got to do. You can't comprehend what I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
So look, man, you either just get on board with the fact that I'm not out to cause trouble and I'm just doing my thing. Yeah. But I would, as I say, I would always hold my own, and I was never in trouble.
Yeah.
And to me, in trouble wasn't even a thing. In that sense, in the outer world.
Yeah. Is it because the discomfort of being in trouble on the outer world it didn't mean it was insignificant in contrast to
it was a drop in the ocean compared to what I was dealing with. So you're in trouble. Oh no.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So what? Give a fuck, mate.
So was your thing like kind
of?
of?
I was dealing with a death sentence, but not only that, not like I'm just waiting to know. I was feeling it.
Yeah.
I was battling it. I was having to do stuff every day to stay alive. I'm training every day. So anything like that's just a fucking inconvenience.
Yeah.
That teacher there, they're an inconvenience. That parent, they're an inconvenience. That kid, they're an inconvenience.
They're getting in your way of just trying to be.
Move.
Just trying to be.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So again, I developed I have to understand that they don't understand. So when I first now you're pushing my patience, snap.
Yeah.
So I've tried to get more chilled. But again, as I say, my mum was always way more cool with that sort of side of things. My dad, he was a copper, he was a policeman. So to him, he looked at me more like he would look at the criminal type of people, like I was misbehaving and I was being bad.
For not following the rules perfectly set as they were laid out. And so I'm guessing he would have favoured.
Stickler for the rules.
Yeah, and so your brother would have definitely, because he followed the rules much more.
I don't think they ever
clean
argued.
cut. Really?
Yeah. I don't remember my brother. I was thinking this the other day, like, because obviously we've had some back and forth.
Oh yeah, stuff.
I don't remember my brother ever getting smacked, but I was always getting smacked.
Yeah.
Smacked is old school. Not beating, not like, beating up, face punches, none of that.
Yeah.
Smacked, so it was either a hand, it was a flip-flop, it was a slipper, it was a spatula, something flat, something plasticky, something rubbery. And
something to sting a little.
Legs or arse cheek. But I'll tell you what, it was always a bare arse cheek. Oh, you never get smacked through jeans. You never get smacked through padded trousers. Oh, Mum, let me just put on my hockey trousers. before
padded bottoms.
Smack. It was
Mum's
like, no.
Pad up.
Cool. Pants down, trousers, bang, bang. Bang, bang, bang,
a couple of them.
Stinger, mate. Stinger. And then, and then you it's seared in. And then you just go, all right, yep, don't do that again, or
Yeah.
don't do it like that again. You know.
That's interesting because like you spoke about your brother not
He
having
may
it.
have done, but I
Yeah,
don't remember.
you don't like that's kind of how I was with my mum. Like, my mum, obviously, I grew up in a not obviously. I grew up in a single parent household.
See, that was
It
Or
wasn't
you're
obvious.
sitting there going, I bet he grew up in a single parent house.
Obviously.
I bet it was him and his mum.
And I never really had any. Obviously, you get your beatings. What we'd say, you get your ass bust. But as far as confrontation,
Your arse bust.
you get your ass bust.
Oh, bust.
Yeah, bust. But you just
I
say
think it's
bust.
like an arse bust.
A bust with giant booty cheeks on.
Rolling down the street in my
Ass
ass
bust.
bust.
But like, as far as having confrontation and having battle,
Yeah.
it's almost like I don't know if it was that I was scared. I didn't really feel like I was necessarily scared, but I understood looking at it as an outsider. I guess that's like looking at it, zooming out and detaching from the situation. All the stuff that was going on in the household, and my brothers being mischievous and playing up and being confrontational and battling, and watching that kind of play out. It made me want to just kind of stay on side to help her, and I think that's probably part of the reason why I was given those keys. Probably being the eldest as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And again, that was the same with my brother. He would often, like I said to you, so I'll be having my physios and stuff like that. My mum's dealing with me, doing all the treatments and stuff like that I had to do. And so his job was the hoovering. I also think sometimes he would do the washing up as well.
Yeah.
And he never moaned, never complained
Damn, my
about
two
it.
fucking jobs, no way.
Yeah.
He's the
They just like, the thing is, they're the kind of things you just need to do every day.
Get
You know,
it
you
done.
got a family dog, hair goes everywhere. And plus,
Get it
you
done.
know, you're running in and out of the house and stuff. And me and Ben, we were boys. We were boys. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We were kids and we would just play football in the back garden. We would run around. We would, I mean, mate, I remember times where I cleaned the dog, and I'm very meticulous with my house, right? When I was a kid, I remember there was times where I had mud, just not even just a bit of mud, like covered thick, cakey mud, head to toe, and I'll just walk in like, there you go, I'm home.
Yeah.
And my mum's like, what?
What's this?
And well, I've been out playing. I'm just and my mate got an absolute bollocking for coming home like that. And I remember thinking, what, we're just playing.
Yeah.
But now she's the dog if she
You're in the different shoes now.
Oh yeah, and I'll tell you what. So you are in a hose down, and you are not coming in until
It really does give you a different perspective, don't it? Like when you're in it as a child, and then when you run the household, you see it from the different perspective. You're like, oh fuck, I gotta why didn't I just do that?
I was allowed to play, and that was always one of the things. So when I was in having physios on my machine, so I had to literally do about an hour to an hour and a half treatment every day. So that was the thing. My brother got to stay outside and play with the neighbours, because again, when I was growing up, right, so I was born in '84. Were you born '89?
90.
So I was born in '84. So growing up, I remember there was a point I lived on the Isle of Wight as well, which was brilliant.
Oh, sweet.
There was like never any crime. And there was a decent prison, I think. I can't remember what it's called. But
Just
never
get the
any
ones from
crime
the
really,
mainland,
So
like.
it was at that age. I was like 4 years old. You could just wander around, and it was great. And so you go, oh, I'm going out for the day, and even you wouldn't even hear that your mum go, get out for the day.
Yeah. Off you pop.
I've got things to do. See you later. Come back when it's dark. And you just go and knock on the doors. You get a posse
knocking
of
on,
you. You
man.
go and play over the field. You build some castle out of hay. You play football. You run and hide. You do all the things.
Yeah.
And so I can't remember where I was going with that point at all. But it was basically, back then I was just allowed to play.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But my brother, when I was called in for the treatment and my physios and bits and bobs, he could stay out and play.
So in your mind, you knew what was going on out there that you was missing out on. Oh man,
Hated it.
and that's you're getting stripped away from being able to enter those as well. So it's not only just the family, like you're getting taken away and dragged into the battlefield, man.
Right, and you've got to go. You're letting your team down.
Yeah.
It's a good teams. Or B, you might miss some of the best part of the game.
Yeah.
Do you know? And so he never had to do that. But then as I said, it wasn't a punishment. His part of the helping out was well, if you can do the hoovering, especially the hoovering, as I said, I think he also did the washing up.
Yeah.
But I also did washing up, so it wasn't exclusively that.
Yeah.
But that was his bit to help mum out, and then Dad worked. So mum from time to time had sporadic jobs.
Yeah.
She'd do a bit of she worked with the travellers back then. They called the gypsies.
Yeah.
And then so Dad was, as I say, always policeman, and Mum would work doing bits and bobs here and there at times.
Yeah.
But the main priority is looking after me, basically, because it was a full-time job as well.
That makes sense.
So that was the kind of family structure in that way. And in magician-wise, yeah, I was always heavily magician-y. But I was a bit like, so when I was younger, it was like I used to really enjoy doing my homework. There was a point before being ill was kind of, oh, this is getting real tough now.
What was your favourite, maths or English?
Maths. I'd always get 10 out of 10 on my what was it, mental arithmetic thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like me and all the smart girls. And
Yeah.
there's 5 of us who go
Yeah.
out and get the 10 out of 10 sticker.
Yeah.
And I was always the only boy.
Yeah.
You know, and there's the ginger girl.
And that's where it...
Always, and there was another girl, and you always got the bottle nose, not bottle nose, the bottle glasses girl.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
always...
And so the Fonz was born. No,
Yeah.
I'm joking.
No, it was back in school. I would ask for more homework at points because I was quite bored.
Yeah.
In many, and you said this. Did you always find things very easy? Like, yeah, for the most part, you know, outside world stuff, general world stuff was very easy for me.
Yeah.
Getting on with people was always easy.
Super.
Like, I was always having a different girlfriend in class.
Yeah,
Kind of thing.
yeah.
Like, oh, this week it's her, and this week, you know, all the parents like me, apart from the one parent whose kid. And I didn't get on, so she obviously didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't like the kid, and because I didn't like the kid, no one else liked the kid.
Yeah, I get, yeah. Oh, shit.
But yeah, you know, teachers like me, like, all of that sort of side of things was all good.
Yeah.
You know, and then when people knew what it was that I was dealing with and understood and this, that, and the other, it's like, oh wow, no, good on you.
Yeah.
But it's when I encountered people who didn't know, and then you know they kind
It'd be a
of try and
problem.
pull the authority, the rank card.
Yeah, yeah.
And you go, look, fuck off, mate.
Yeah. You can't use that on me.
Fuck off.
That's
It doesn't
interesting.
work on me.
Yeah.
So, well, if you don't do this, then that. Oh, I'm dead.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, as horrible as it sounds.
Yeah. With the magician thing that you mentioned, I was given those keys as a child. Like, because I was, I guess, academically smart, but I wasn't academically smart all the way through. I was only good at maths.
Yeah.
My English was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I pulled out a year 9 book at my mum's house like 10 years ago. And like the handwriting was terrible. It was like year 2 handwriting. It was terrible.
Wow.
Like I remember my English teachers being like, hey, can you read this back to me? And I'd pull out my book, and I'd read, and I'd be like, no, not a chance. So I felt like the dummy as a kid, which was really weird.
In your house, you're the smart
I
one.
was given the keys. I was given the keys as the smart
But
one,
it's
but
comparatively,
socially,
isn't it?
yes, because socially, I just felt like I weren't picking things up. I really wasn't. I didn't grasp social situations
In
at all.
terms of then, like, in your class, let's say primary school class,
Yeah.
because obviously primary school is mixed, isn't it? I guess you went to a mixed secondary school. But
Yeah,
I went
yeah,
to
yeah.
a boys' secondary school. But in that sort of sense, were you kind of middle on the class to sort of catch on to things, to clock on and go, oh, I see? Or were you, you know, near the front, near the back?
I was away with the fairies.
Okay.
I was the kid that was
You're a
away with the
dreamer.
fairies. Yeah,
Looking out the window going,
100%. I was the dreamer. I had a fidget board. I was the only kid in my
the
class with
dreamer
a
is
fidget
which
board.
one? Lover?
It's the
magician.
passive pole of the magician. No. That's the lover. The passive pole of the lover.
Okay, hold on.
The
I'm going to
immature
write this
lover.
down because I'm a total dreamer as well.
Yeah.
So, a dreamer is the passive pole of the lover.
Yeah.
Carry on. So you were...
And I definitely had that with like not picking up on social situations. So I go upstairs into the tower, but it wasn't really structured. It wasn't methodical. It wasn't for reflection and looking at things and
you weren't
analysing
looking
things.
out?
I was just flying around in the sky. I was
Right.
just floating around, man. Like,
This is cool, man.
I'm just going up there because up there in my imagination where all the creative stuff happened and all the flowing and all the buzzing and whistles, that was way more entertaining than the awkwardness of trying to figure out what the fuck was going down on the ground level.
But here's the deal. This is what I'm thinking. You've got how many sisters do you live with?
I got one.
One sister.
2 brothers, 1 sister.
Okay, so your sister and your mum.
Yeah.
Is your sister older than you?
Younger.
Younger by how much?
She's the youngest, I'm the oldest.
Okay, so there's quite a big difference.
7 years.
Oh, okay,
7
so
years.
What I was thinking was, because I know you had like females in your household, I was
Yeah.
thinking if you're trying to, as a young boy, figure out what the fuck is going on in that dynamic, I can imagine why you go, "Pfft, bollocks to that, mate,
Yeah.
I've got no idea. But actually, your brothers, they were your closest siblings, and in that
Yeah.
way, a male relationship, you can understand that.
100%. But I felt most definitely feminine as a
Okay.
boy. I never like identified with the masculine boys. So the having that warrior edge and that running, jumping, rough and tumble and doing all that stuff, it never clicked on for me. Going out playing in the mud and doing that type of stuff, yeah. But you know, like the combative
rough and
stuff.
tumble play, yeah.
Yeah, the rough and tumble, it never really.
Yeah, see, that was one of my.
That's where I
favourite
just
things. That was,
detached.
See, actually, that is where my dad and I, we don't really get on in many respects.
Yeah.
But actually, when I was younger, I remember he'd always get on his all fours. So again, I must have been. It would have been from the moment I was able to grab and pull, and you know. So it would have been from the youngest of ages. But again, I would remember being like 3 and 4 years old, play fighting with him, and me and my brother would do it as well. And he would be like down on all fours to sort of make it even. And yeah, man, I would really like sometimes, and I would know not to do certain things, but then I'd know there's other things.
Would you push it?
Like, yeah.
Push it.
So, for example, you could do a good slap,
Yeah.
right? As long as it was somewhere fatty.
Yeah.
So you couldn't do
Not in
like
the
a neck
face,
slap
or-
or
Yeah.
a shot to
Neck
the
slap.
ear, eye poke.
Adam's
all that
apple
shit.
back.
Do you know what I mean? But you could
Sorry,
do
Dad.
like a good back shoulder.
Yeah.
Because it's a bit fat.
Get
like
the
that.
sound on it.
Yeah, absolutely. You could work on that proper overhand right. You know. And I remember my go-to move was always the rear naked choke.
Oh.
Because I clocked from a very young age, if you can't breathe, you can't do shit.
Yeah.
So I'd always like, bang, 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 climb on the back, choke. And
I'm going to fucking...
I always remember thinking, I can
Yeah.
pull it tighter, I can pull it tighter. And him like really efforting to pull it away. And a couple of times going, like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's the answer, that is.
100%. That's the answer.
Like chop him down. So obviously at the point, if he was standing, it'd be very hard to chop him down.
Yeah.
But chop him down, take the knees, jump on the back, choke him out.
Get him out.
Like, that's it.
It's-
end of.
It's kind of crazy. I was always like combat adverse, as
Yeah.
it were. Yeah. Like I'd get into some little bits of play fighting and stuff, but nothing like I'd never push the limits. And what I'm realising, especially like working in a primary school and seeing young boys in their most raw forms, man, it's just part of who most boys are, unless they're more feminised. Like it just comes on in them. And like I remember getting mats out and like I knew what they wanted to do. I was like, right, let's rumble. Let's rumble, you know. I might not have been out
They
loud
want to
to
test
do it.
their own limits.
Yeah.
As well. They want to see what it actually feels
Yeah.
like to get slammed onto the floor.
Yeah, we played around. It was like, right, you got to touch my sock, I got to touch your sock. So we're head to head and we're wrestling with each other. It's 2v1. And they were just overwhelmed with joy. It wasn't that they were trying to take me out. Of course, they're going to push the boundaries because that's that warrior in them. But it's just weird reflecting on that. And then all the boys who would like play fight and get each other up against the fences and kick each other's shins and try and floor each other. Like that, like the 10-year-old me, that's alien to. It's really weird. Do you know what I mean?
That's
I
why
get
I'm
it now.
very, very glad then that my dad was like that. And
Yeah.
we did the rough and tumble play. So that's why I was so, like, for me, obviously, I'm fighting a full grown man.
Yeah.
And so when I come to fight at school, I'm just fighting a little kid. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, that was easy. You know, so I remember a good few times as well fighting my brother's friends. Again, because they're bigger, they're older, they think they can sort of like throw their weight around. No, I'm not having it.
Yeah.
So I remember there's one kid I clotheslined, and again I remember thinking he was really tall, so I had to kind of really get up there.
You didn't
and I
get
know.
him in his sharp bit, did
I
you?
got it right, and that was it. Took him out. I didn't even get hard. It was just timed well, accurate, all the rest of it, right? Took him down, and again he never messed after that because it was basically like, you're little, you're 2 years younger than me.
Like-
You're going to do what I tell you.
Yeah.
And I was always... And,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and as I say, so he got clothesline. And then there was another kid who he again I can't remember what it was. He wasn't an aggressive kid either, but it might have been that I said something and he had some sort of rebuttal that I didn't like. I don't know what it was, but again it was I'm bigger, I'm older, fuck you. And that was the sentiment, right?
Yeah.
And I remember it was even left-handed, and I just went, I can't do it here, but it was a really good uppercut kind of liver shot. I didn't know what a liver shot was at that point.
You hit him with the boss
It was
root,
just-
man.
It was like a bang, like that. And he went, doubled like that. And I remember going, miss, he's hurt himself, he's struggling to breathe. And I just toddled off, do you know what I mean? And it was that kind, and again, I must have been 8 o'clock.
That's
8 o'clock,
crazy.
8 years old. So for me, it was super comfortable, like too comfortable.
Yeah,
And actually,
yeah.
so I just spat you a little bit.
It's all good, man.
And I then had to really make a conscious effort to calm down as I
Bring it in.
Yeah. Oh, here's a story from earlier, right? So I was at a pharmacy up at Tesco's.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting, being polite, being nice, being kind, and I did look to see if there was a bell that you could ding.
Yeah.
Right? And I couldn't see one, and my thinking was, well, there's a camera right there in front of me. There's probably a big screen right in front of them. They see people waiting, but if they've only got one person on, I can see there's someone around the corner,
Yeah.
and they're filling an order, right? My thinking was, because again, I've been in millions of pharmacies over the years.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
If you're counting an order, you don't want to miscount that shit.
Yeah.
So when you're finished, then you go up. And this is the way it used to work when I go to the Brompton. It was you would stand there and there'd be a queue and they're all the way working away in front. There wasn't one person to serve.
Yeah.
It was like when that person's done with their order,
they're going to come
they
over.
come next, you know. And I thought that's probably, you know.
Yeah.
And then this old lady and this this older lady and then a slightly younger older lady was there, and the older one went, "Oh, they got to ring the bell?" And I was like, "I can't. Is there one here? I can't see if there is."
Yeah.
She went, "Oh, there used to be a bell." Obviously, she didn't sound like this. She had more of a bunny accent. And
Used to be a bell.
And so she's going, "Excuse me," like that round the corner. And so the woman's come out. "Oh, you used to have a bell." Like, so her voice has changed. Now.
Yeah.
And then basically it was, do you know what? Years ago, I would have gone, "Oi!"
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Get
People waiting out here, fucking hurry up.
Yeah.
And me being not just calm, polite, chill now, trying to lose that aggressive edge.
Working on it consciously.
I would have waited there all day, mate. And this old lady like, "Fucking come on."
Yeah. It's like when's too much. Do you know what I mean? Like when you work on like balancing it out, you could swing to the other side.
So that tells me I'm doing pretty well.
Yeah.
Cause, do you know what
to
I mean?
the point where the old lady got
To the
less
point where the
patience
old
than you.
lady is going, "Let's hurry this bitch up."
That's a
they're
good
taking
indicator.
too long, and I'm just chill going, "I'll wait my turn. I'll be, whatever."
They're not going to be
So
rushing.
it actually is good, but yeah, when I was younger, mate, I would like throw first and ask questions later.
Yeah.
It was never a thing,
Yeah.
you know. And it was I remember again being in secondary school. Some kid mouthing off at it. What's funny is I'm not going to say all the names, but I know it. I can see it all clear as day in my brain when I'm telling
You've got
all
first
these
and
stories.
last names as well, ain't you?
Right,
You've got surnames.
100%, man.
I fucking knew
And
it.
so this kid at the front, he was one of those cocky twats, right, who would give it all of that in front of the teachers, in front of places where you couldn't do anything, or so he thought. And then it would always, "Oh, no, but no, you know, it'd be one of those.
The Draco Malfoy.
Right, okay.
You need to watch Harry Potter.
We had this.
Right.
I've never seen Harry Potter because
Right.
I tried to watch the first one, and the kids can't fucking act, and I ain't watching that shit.
Right, let's just clear it out here.
Pause.
Harry Potter is an absolute classic. It's an absolute classic. It's 20 years old and they're still going out. The kids were 10. How good do you want 10-year-old actors to
American
be? I
kids
think they
can
do well.
act. English kids are shit. Do you know what? What's her
I
face?
think
Who plays Hermione?
Yeah.
She's still shit. Don't get me wrong. She's super cute.
I haven't seen any of her other
I
stuff.
don't think I've ever seen her in anything. And don't get me wrong, I like the Beauty and the Beast thing as well, right? I still think she can't fucking. I'm like, she's well cute, yeah, but she can't act.
Man, you can't let it get in
And
the
that
way
what's
of it,
his
man.
face, Daniel Radcliffe. I think, now he's been in a few things. I'm like, actually, he was alright,
Yeah.
you know. That ginger one, Ron.
Yeah.
I was going to go Ron Burgundy.
Ron Burgundy, you know.
His name's not Ron Burgundy.
Oh.
I'd seen him in two things and thought, you're shit. Now look, this is purely my opinion. I'm not saying they're horrible people. I'm not saying anything.
He's a stickler
right?
for everything.
All I'm saying is, it's not my cup of tea.
What is it?
How about that?
Persnickety? No. Persnickety?
Persnickety.
Persnickety
I
is
am
very,
persnickety,
it's
mate.
very persnickety.
Yeah. And it's the
But
pomposity.
You're not pomposity. You're not going to remember that. You're not going to know these references. But yeah, Draco Malfoy. Malfoy.
He's the blonde kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Randall from Recess. Anyway, yeah.
Don't know Recess. So anyway, Malfoy, this kid Malfoy, Draco, went to school with him. And there was one time I was in English, and Mr. Smith, I can say it as Mr. Smith, because how many fucking Mr. Smith are there? Everyone's got a Mr. Smith who teaches English.
4,263 Mr.
Dude, man.
Smiths.
It's a fucking simulation, guys. It's a simulation. I've only got so much CPU.
He's just got a clone machine. He's ahead of everybody.
We had Mr. Smith at the front, and he knew what this kid was like. He knew what Draco was like. And so I'm at the back, right? Working away, and something was said, and it was like when someone says it a little bit louder, just so someone at the back can hear it.
Yeah.
And it was such and such and such, and I was like, no. And I literally feel bad for the kid sitting next to me, because I like, do you know when you stand up, and as you stand up, the back of your knees kick the chair?
Yeah.
And so the chair flies back, right? As I stood up, I flipped the table.
Oh.
So he's like, oh shit. So again, this is just like that was who I am.
You was
like,
in the mode.
I'm gonna be sneaky and I'm gonna. No, it was like bang.
Yeah.
Grabbed my chair, threw it at the cunt, nailed him. Mr. Smith looks up and goes, "What's going on?" And I was like, "Sorry, sir, I dropped my chair." And he went, "Come and get your chair and go and sit back down."
I dropped my chair.
And you know what? That kid never tried it again. Because he thought, oh, shit.
Because he knew that Mr. Smith was like, if you're going to be the wanker.
A, just like, he's not going to get in trouble.
And
but
you just
B,
got smashed
he
with
will
a
do
chair.
it. And even if he gets in trouble, he doesn't care.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know that I wasn't going to get in trouble before I did it.
Yeah.
I just knew that I don't care about that.
The consequences doesn't matter. This needs to be done straight in there.
No, I need to nip that in the bud.
Yeah.
I'm not having that attitude, you know.
So I've got a question for you following up, because we're on the subject essentially of the warrior, about aggression and anger.
That was definitely my warrior and magician, I would say, were my two biggest ones.
Yeah.
Magician's got more so as the warrior's declined, I would say.
Yeah. Oh, and that makes sense, because that's the relationship which you need to kind of bring your warrior in.
Yeah.
But I was still going to ask you the question. For me, I've always been low on that energy, so mine's always been about developing it and harnessing it. And I was just wondering, what things have you found in life that have helped you tame that thing and stop it from coming out and murdering everybody and just smashing things to pieces? What do you think the main things is? There like lessons that you may have learned, or realizations that you've had, or practices that you've practiced? I know that one of them you said about
three. About
all staying
three.
in.
Yeah. All three.
I just want to hear your thoughts and experience.
So over the years, right? Years. Let's say I was in early 20s, 21. Let's just say I was 20. I remember I was in hospital, and I had a psychiatrist. I think she was not that really matters. Head doctor. And I was talking to her for the first time that I'd ever spoken to a head doctor before, like properly. And I said about my anger, and I said that sort of rage and explosivity. And she said, "Do you ever worry you would hurt someone?" I said, "Absolutely." That's why I am so disciplined. Because what I said to her is, here's the issue. Like, I don't worry that I take it out on someone justly, and as long as justly is in my own opinion. Because we can only do things for our own opinion.
Yeah, for our own
with the information I have here and now, I'm going to act accordingly. If I know more shit, I will act accordingly then. But here and now, if I feel it's justified,
that's all you've got to go off of.
This is what I'm going to do. So I was always like, I would hate to one day, because I'm dealing with, staying alive, and that's where all my effort and energy is going to doing this.
I just got BGs in my
One
head.
day I just snap on the wrong person, and someone gets all this wrath that they so do not deserve.
That's been bottled in from all the previous.
Yeah, man. I'm like, oh fuck. That's kind of what I worry about. But that's why I'm so disciplined. And that's why I've remained disciplined. I remain diligent. I make sure that I train my physical body as well as my mind to do what I want it to do. Yeah. Versus, when you just go, oh, the rage just took over. No. You can feel the fucking rage.
You can feel it bubbling.
And you can deal with it.
Yeah.
But when you lack the ways to deal with it, and so oftentimes for me, like, my saying is balance is key, timing is everything, so long as you can breathe, the rest is easy.
Yeah.
The breathing side of things, I couldn't just go, zen. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
But it was just, oftentimes I would kind of put that rage into my body and just tense like everything up, and my head would blow up.
Almost like to burn it off.
So, that kind of, how much can I swirl my body up? Yeah. Rather than putting it onto them. Yeah. How much can I make it just go round inside and anticipate?
So it's the rechanneling of that energy, sorry.
Well, it's also putting it into, somewhere that's either healthy or at least not too destructive. So, again, whenever I wanted to, I'd have like rows with my missus and stuff like that. And so I remember her dad would say, I hate the way that you shout at her, and I do worry that you're going to hit her one day. Yeah. And she would always say he would never hit me. Yeah. I would hit doors. Okay. And growing up, I'd hit doors, I'd hit fridges, I'd hit walls, I'd hit anything else other than a person. Yeah. Because I didn't mind if I hurt my fist and if I broke a thing, but nobody deserved to have it taken out on them. And this is what I think I've said to you before. I knew, I've only articulated this more recently, in the sort of recent 5-10 years, in that it wasn't my fault, but it was my problem. Yeah. A lot of people point to stuff on the outside. It was their fault, his fault, her fault. It was my boss's. No.
It's so disempowering. It's really disempowering.
It wasn't anybody's fault, but it also wasn't mine. But it was mine to deal with. Yeah. So when I was a kid, it was mine and my mum's to deal with. It wasn't my dad's really to deal with at all. He didn't really do anything hospital related, anything health related at all. He earned the money. That was what he did. He earned the money, and then he dished out the discipline as and when was needed. And then he would do like fun things, and he would do, he was always play games with me and my brother. When I was on my machine, so again I'd have to just sit there breathing in and out this kind of steam like stuff, and we'd play chess or cards or backgammon. Yeah. And that was a very frequent thing, probably up to the age of 8 or 9, I'd say, at least primary school-y kind of age.
Yeah.
And that was 2 or 3 times a day sometimes. So
Okay.
play games.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. So again, I would have a lot of fun. I'm a very fun-loving person.
Yeah.
So it wasn't all warrior. It wasn't all doom
Yeah,
and gloom
yeah.
in the sense of there were times I could have a laugh, I could dick around, and I was distracted from the inside world by the outside world.
So being able to enter different rooms would take you out of that warrior mentality as well, for sure.
And the lover.
Yeah.
So women have always just helped to chill me the fuck up.
Yeah.
And perk me the fuck up in more ways than one. And yeah, they've always been my kind of go-to for soothing and comfort and just also to try and, so for example, again, when I was in secondary school, a lot of my friends got into dealing drugs and all sorts of naughty shit. I knew I didn't want to go down that route because if I was going to go down that route, I'd really
Definitely,
go down that
you'd
route,
definitely
right?
do it, yeah.
So whatever I'm going to do, I'm going to fucking do it. So then I sought out getting a girlfriend so that I could hang out with her instead, and that's exactly what I
So you
did.
could detach from being around the young warriors and get into the lover. That's a smart
and
move.
literally 6 months later, my best mate got stabbed in the neck, and in the same deal, his mate who was in the car with got stabbed in the neck and died.
Wow.
So he was like that far away from getting his jugular slit.
Wow.
So again, I'm like, that's why. That's
why
why
I'm not doing it.
I'm not, I'm so glad. So over the years, definitely, the awareness, the magician has helped. The awareness, I already know it's the magician because
we got this lingo now. We got this lingo.
Like I say, understanding that they don't understand.
Yeah.
Understanding I'm enraged because of this.
Yeah.
And then just the physical training, having ways to kind of get it out.
Yeah.
In some sort of physical way. And as I say, playing, connecting, that's super important to me.
Yeah.
So those are my kind of ways. But do you know what? Discipline. It is literally discipline. There's some things you can't come back from.
No, you're right. I found that the physical aspect of it, if you don't do that ritually, it bubbles up in you. And although I didn't really have it necessarily with the confrontation, it's not that I didn't experience anger inside me, because there were different times that I did experience it in me. And once I started to try and like balance that out, I felt like, because I wasn't used to it, when it came up, it would spill out a lot easier. Do you know what I mean? That aggression, that anger.
Yeah, because you didn't have the cup to control it.
Yes.
You didn't build that sort of...
Didn't have the vessel.
Yeah.
Didn't have the vessel to hold it.
Essentially, so do you know the bladder is like a muscle, right? It's like a big bowl of muscle that you squeeze the whole muscle and it comes out, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like learning how to control your bladder.
Yeah.
When shit goes sideways, do you piss your pants?
Yeah.
Or can you hold it all together?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is that
It's
kind of
100%
thing.
like
And
the
it's like,
urges
have
are
you
there.
learned to control that contraction? Have you learned to control your breathing? Have you learned to control all of those?
Yeah.
What they fight or flight, freeze responses, you know?
Yeah, that's a really good analogy actually, because the urges are all there, the signals for the body to say, hey, it's time to do this thing. And got it against it. just toes.
Hey, let's cover those up. I'm just trying not to bang anything. I just know some people are like, oh, feet, man.
Why the feet?
Feet are grim. Right, carry on.
But yeah, the ability to channel that in a direction. So for me, it was martial arts.
Yeah.
Channel it in a direction rather than letting it get collateral damage for everybody involved. Like you say, it wasn't ideal with hitting stuff, but it's 1,000 times better than hitting your partner, man.
Right, you know
it is. You've got to be realistic about
Plus,
these things.
If you put a hole in a door, right, and you put several holes in a door, when you've got to move out, okay, you got to change the door. But it's on you to change the door. Mm-hmm. So you put your anger into the door breaks. You now got to replace the door. So it's going to cost you money, it's going to cost you time and effort. If you could do it yourself, great. If you've got to pay someone, or even worse. So also, whoever comes around and sees that door gets to see a little bit of what you're like on the inside. Because the inside of your house is exactly the same as the inside of yourself. Yeah. It is literally like, so when you said right at the start, your household, I'm like, mate, do you know what? I am getting my fucking household tight. Yeah. It is starting to look really nice. It's starting to take shape. Like the rooms are coming together. You know, like you said, my place is always like neat and tidy. Same as my car. It's like all these kind of things. I have a wild element to it. Like the garden, I like to keep something. I like to keep, wild animal out there.
Yeah. That sense of creativity, and it.
So I look, I have that kind of wild meets the contained, if you like. Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember where I was going with that either.
It's all right, mate. It's your turn for the brain farts.
Do you know what? I'm just thinking about how good that pineapple is. And it's going down and down. And just thinking about, actually, I've got to sort out the loft. I've got to sort out the bathroom.
Unbelievable.
As soon as I started talking about getting my house together.
In contrast, mine's quite chaotic. And I think my mind is quite chaotic. And I'm always in in the process of trying to organize things, but it's almost like I can't stop this endless flood of ideas and visions pouring in. So while I'm organizing these things, there's another funnel shoot of stuff coming in. That I'm trying to block that up.
you
So I can
struggle with
sort this
focus
out.
then, as
Yes,
part of your
focus
warrior,
is definitely one of the warrior attributes that is a struggle to me, because I have so many ideas and so many different things. I'm like, oh, that'd be awesome. Oh, that'd be so fucking cool. You know, it'd be really amazing. This, and this. So creativity has never ever been an issue for me. It's never, and I think that comes from me having that kind of dreamer and just that
You
imagination.
can be away with the fairies all day but never get anything done.
Yeah.
So that's
yeah.
your issue. So funnily enough, so I actually wrote a few things down.
Yeah.
For today, because
Yep.
I didn't know what you had, right? So there was a paragraph in the book I've got up here. So hold on. Excuse me while I be an old man. Get up. See, I look like I'm all capable and stuff, sitting down when I'm still. And then as soon as I have to do something that involves moving and twisting and my joints and my tendons and my back and all these things.
You got there, them funds.
So basically, do you know we were talking about why you don't take the action that you should take?
Yes.
And you take lesser action, which is essentially a simulation of action you should take in the real world, but you'll take the action in a kind of game world, right? And you know what? I didn't have chance to.
Are you referring to when I was addicted to computer games, or are you referring
but
to the
also
procrastination?
still more recently, sometimes like without. Realising it, even though you've needed to do the YouTube thing, which actually doesn't even take that long. You just kind of go, mate, I've
it
just
literally didn't.
frittered away an hour. It only takes 10 minutes to do the thing.
It didn't take long
they
at
make
all.
it super easy to do.
As I'm doing it, I'm like, why? Why has it took so long?
Okay, so while I find this thing, I'm not going to listen to your answer because the answer's for them. Actually, the answer's for you. So we were talking about then having the focus.
Yes.
Okay? So then focus-wise, you've got this thing called the stronghold.
Yes.
And you've more recently been focusing on it because you've got a real in-person, real-life event coming up. Yeah. So you're thinking more about the stronghold. So tell me about this thing, the stronghold, that you would like to focus on in your future.
Yeah.
While I find this thing.
Okay, so the Stronghold Project is a space that I'm creating to flesh out a map of the inner psyche of masculinity. And with how things have gone with men and essentially the male presence of ritual process, the progressing from boyhood to manhood, it's kind of disintegrated over time. So from tribal cultures, we all had a village, you know, the saying, it takes a village to raise a child. Essentially, when you're in that village, all of the men of that village will help you develop from a boy to a man, and you will go through male initiation. This is a standard thing in tribal cultures. Now, not all of them are amazing, I'm going to say that, but there was a hard line that you passed to go from being a boy to being a man. Now, what I see a lot of is men struggling and being in this psychological limbo of kind of not being a man, but not being a boy. They're in this middle ground.
Being an adult boy.
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
thing. They're an adult in the sense of
they've got an
can
adult
drive
frame.
and vote and they can have a beard and people go, oh, you're a grown up.
Yeah.
But they've not grown up yet.
That's
they've
it.
not matured yet.
They've got the physical frame of a man, but they've got the psychology of a boy. And it's like between 18 and 30. And essentially what the Stronghold's going to be doing is mapping out a way so you can locate yourself and where you are on this inner framework and take a step-by-step process of repetition of going towards that balance. And that's going to be off of the Robert Moore's framework of the 4 quarters. That'll be the king, the warrior, the magician, and the lover. So I'm going to be doing a course on the masculinity. It's going to be a 6-week course with 3 cohorts of men, 10 to 12, and we're going to be going through it. We're going to be going through it, discussing what it is to be a man and how to find that mature masculinity in a time where so many man boys are reigning supreme. Essentially, there's so many different ways in which things can go terribly wrong in the development of manhood, and sometimes they're not even noticed. Like for me, for example, I went through a mother's initiation. My initiation wasn't from a man.
That's more common now than ever.
Way common, and that is the initiation from going from a boy to a nice guy. And a nice guy is not a fully it's not a fully initiated man. It's a man who subconsciously requires the approval of a woman
Just trying to
and
please.
follows.
Trying
and
to please
follows.
and not disappoint or upset.
Yeah. Don't upset
Do
the
you know
missus.
what's funny?
Happy wife, happy life. And it's a terrible way to live your
Again,
life.
So do you know, I said, like, so over the years, right, people are going, oh, you're such a natural woman. And I am, because I'm just me.
Yeah.
But just me also naturally, because of my dad, I think, does loads of dumb romantic shit, which is totally like, do you know what I mean? Like, so many times when I look back, I'm going, oh, mate, yeah, whoa. And I just shudder.
Yeah.
Shudder. I'm just glad cameras weren't around for someone to just literally
Glad no
capture
one was
that moment
recording
and
me.
upload it forever, because I understand why people don't ask people out now and why people don't have interactions, because they can be painful. But there's so much more painful when they're relived.
Yeah.
One of the best ways for one not to be so painful is for that to be one of 100, one of 1,000, as in get rejected a lot.
Yeah.
And then that punch isn't
It
so
disappears.
bad.
Yeah.
But I was never, ever, ever trying to please my mother.
Yeah.
If she was annoyed at me, give a fuck. Do you know what I mean? If she was upset, give a fuck.
And that's a part of
She would hit
masculinity.
me and shout at me and screaming up.
Yeah.
You know, so that natural inclination, like in terms of just that attitude, showed.
Yeah.
Obviously. And my natural aggression also showed.
Yeah.
And so without me even having to think or realizing, actually, that was because I had all these other things. Like my magician was just super insecure.
Yeah.
All these other things going on. So I was always shocked when I got girls' attention.
Yeah.
And actually, whenever I went for a girl that I liked, I got them. I was like, wow, how does this keep happening?
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
was shocked and confused.
You're running high on those fucking energies, man.
As I say, but that was never at the forefront of my mind. I never realised, you know. And so it was always a strange thing. Now I'm starting to realise these things. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
and so that's why I'm glad that I had my dad to have that rough and tumble play.
100%.
Weirdly, I don't believe he's the guy who taught me how to be a man.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, and that goes back to our very first episode.
It doesn't need to be your biological father at all.
Exactly, yeah.
100%.
And so I think in many respects I learned from him what not to be like and what I didn't like.
Yeah.
And qualities that I thought, nah.
Yeah.
And then, I also, while I had a loving, caring mum, at no point was I just trying to please her and trying to appease her or trying to avoid upsetting her or any of these kind of things. I'm very fortunate that I was just me.
I think it pays to to have something to strive for as a man, but also something to run away from at the same time. I think if you
Carrot
only
and
strive
stick,
for you need to have something to chase and something that terrifies you, like something that's like, I never want to become that. And that's why I think that the absence of fathers or male role models that have certain things that you think, I don't think I'll do that, is it's also a great motivator as well. You can learn just as much from not having a dad than having a dad, because there's so many men that I grew up with on our street, which basically had no fathers, that actually have grown up to become very caring, present, balanced fathers.
They had what they didn't. They become what they didn't have.
Yes, because they understood and they were very aware of and picked up on the cautionary tale of their upbringing and what they missed out on. And when they found it, they found a way to replicate it, which I found really cool. It's really, really fascinating.
Yeah, and I actually say, because again, I'm just generally very interested in all the facets that make up life. Do you know what I mean? I'll watch how stuff is made, and I'll watch the human dynamics between male and females, and how this and that is.
I watch the
played
frogs
out,
in the bushes doing mating dances. What are they going up to?
Yeah, literally. I'm fascinated with all of these things. And one of the things was, I think they let's just say it was Harlem in the US, just because why not?
Yeah.
It was a study somewhere like that, and it was, you just need one man on the street. One guy to be the dad, the role model, and while the kids won't get necessarily the direct effect of his presence in the home, the fact that he's there, like I have a saying, time plus proximity equals influence.
Ooh.
So when that man is around, if that is a real good, solid man.
Let me...
Do you not heard that one before?
No,
oh, mate,
whoa.
Time,
God
it's
damn.
an equation. Time plus proximity equals influence. I.e., the longer you're around someone and the closer quarters, the closer physical quarters you are, the more you're going to have an influence on one another. Literally, for example, if you're, say I'm with a girl, her scent is going to rub off on me, and my scent is going to rub off on her if we're, getting it on. And that's the, it's literally that physical influence. So I go out and dogs can smell my dog on me.
Yeah.
It's that kind of physical influence.
Yeah.
And obviously, you can have what you believe is a great relationship and try doing that shit long distance and you'll soon see.
Yeah, it's I think there's a book by is it Nicholas Dalby? Not Nicholas Dalby, that's a fighter. Gordon Dalby, I think it is. And it's known as, he calls it the brown ooze. I call it the rub. Like the royal rub.
Like,
but
brown ooze, you want to go to the doctor
it sounds icky, don't it? It does sound icky. I was like, oh.
Excuse me, doc, I've got the brown ooze. Ooh, we give you some cream.
Yeah, I thought the royal rub, but the royal rub sounds a little bit sus as well.
Yeah.
But essentially, like you're saying, the proximity of being around those people will uplift you. It will give you something worth following and go, hey, I want to be like that guy. You only need that in your life for a certain amount of time before you have a good image of what it is. You can start going out into the world and replicating that.
You need a demo, man.
Yeah,
but
people think it's copying, it's not.
I mean, obviously, there's a lot of like these performative alphas, they call them, don't they, online. But again, I think once you put something online, there's elements of filters, there's elements like the very fact you're detached from a screen. Like, essentially, this is like a portal into another part of the planet somewhere.
You can show what you want to show. You can hide whatever you want to hide.
When you're around someone physically and you actually, so for example, you go, oh, that dude doesn't look that big, and then you're actually next to them in person, you're like, oh, fuck, you're way big. Or the flip, oh, that guy looks massive. Oh, he's actually only a really little guy. It's just a persona.
It's the similar to the never meet your heroes.
Exactly.
Oh, that guy's the best, and you meet me like, oh, he's actually a bit of a dickhead. He's actually a bit of a douche.
When you got someone in real life, you see them in reality versus just the snapshot they want you to see. And so again, if you've got a good, solid man on the street who is a good, representation of what a dude can be, flawed and all, but what can be, then when I used to do the climbing, you sometimes just need one person to go out and go, oh,
that's
got it.
Yeah, he's there.
That demo
That's how you do it.
Unlocked it for me. So when you see that, but the trouble is there are people out there now, and I see it more and more and more. And I was watching again. I pretty much watch YouTube. The advert came on the other day, and there's two men who are just so not gay because they're not gay, but
feminine.
The way they're dressed, it's like, are you trying to be gay? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, it was that feminine.
I've seen a bit of it, and it just doesn't make sense. They've got these weird flary kind of genie things and cut off vests, but it's like women's clothing. It looks like women's clothing on them, and they've got handbags and stuff. And I'm like,
if that's your style, great. Yeah. But if you're portraying a straight, normal, average dude,
the new way of masculinity, it's we can't do that, man. We can't do that. If we get invaded, who are these going to be the guys that defend the fort?
It's just so effeminate. And I just think, well, again, that's out there.
Yeah.
And it's if that's again all they're seeing, you just think, man, alive. No wonder everyone's so confused.
Yeah, I think there's two ways that it goes. It goes the feminine way, the over feminized,
masculine.
Yeah, and it's
steroids,
and it's not even that.
Buff, bruv.
It's not even that these guys are. Oh, I'm a homosexual. I'm gay, and so I dress like this. They're trying to create a new way of masculinity that isn't masculine in any sense of the word.
And that's the thing, because again, if you're a dude and I'm not saying all gay men are trying to be soft, but if you're a gay dude, you're generally trying to be softer because you're trying to be more feminine. Yeah. Right? And so I understand the being more kind of and you kind of chill.
Because in a gay relationship, you still need that polarity. You still need what's known as, the butch and the bitch. The masculine one and the feminine one, so a lot of them will go feminine.
Generally going to be a bit more...
effeminate,
flamboyant, if he's gay. But now it's just no, everyone's like
I'm completely straight. I've got a wife and 2 kids, but I like to dress like this, and it's kind of hard to digest. Well, you got the opposite side as well.
There's more and more of the. I look at them and I'm like, you're 18 to maybe 25-year-olds. And again, it's just that, they call them femboys, soy boy.
Yeah, femboys.
Then more and more and more and more. I'm like, again, these are the kind of role models.
They fell off the cliff on the path towards masculinity, but are still trying to claim that it's masculinity. In a sense, it's very weird. And then you've got the other side, which is these ultra refined and polished men that have no souls, that are trying to say this is the new way of masculinity. Yeah. Like you say though, the guy on the block that's leading you, you can see him warts and all, but in spite of that, he's still trying to be his best and still trying to lead. These guys are trying to pretend that they have no imperfections. They're trying to present as the perfect guy, and it's a massive trick because young boys are going to be looking at those guys and going, oh, well, these guys have got no marks on their card. Well, so-and-so at the park, he's actually
real
not...
person.
Yeah, the real actual man who's willing to lead. He doesn't look like them. Oh, he's got a bigger, faster car, and he's got more money. So this guy's obviously not a man. Not realizing that it's a trick. You're getting dragged away from this guy who could teach you valuable boots on the ground lessons and have that back and forth, that interaction, get the rub. You know what I mean? Of being around up close to a real man and learning the ways, downloading it, getting the demo.
Yeah, and that was the
getting
thing
this
years
snippet
ago,
to these guys,
you
man.
Would, like men would educate boys, and you would do it through so hunting, for example. You would just go on the hunt. You know, you might practice skills in the village, but you're going to learn by going, right, you're old enough now, you're going to join us. You're not going to have any fucking responsibility. Just keep up. Don't get in the way and don't hurt yourself. Yeah. Like, essentially, your life is now kind of in your hands a little bit versus you're going to get looked after by the women and, you know, back
and mum's going to come and scoop you up and you scratch your knee.
It's like,
you're out with the men now.
We're going out. It's going to be cold. It's going to be wet. It's going to be fucking miserable.
Yeah.
You might get bit. You might get, you know, this and this and this and this. But this is what's going on. And it's the same in that kind of work world. You go out and you got to grind. Yeah. And it raises testosterone. Yeah. You know, and again, I watched this thing the other day, and there's more women being more testosterone-y. You know,
they're filling in a void.
Should be a pizza. The new testosterone from Pizza Hut.
The double testosterone.
But the double stuffed crust. I love a good double stuff. But what I'm saying is, like, the you know, when you are going out and doing those kind of warrior-like things, the actual, you know, where you have to be more hard-nosed, you have to be more blunt, you have to be more direct, you have to be more this and cutthroat and that sort of thing. You know, the cutthroat term comes from actual war, where you have to cut a fucking throat. Yeah. You know what I mean? So when you look at that now, it's like more and more guys withdrawing more and more. And there's more and more women stepping up, so they're becoming more masculine.
They're filling a void that's there. It's creating a vacuum. And there's not enough masculinity.
The guys are getting drawn into that feminine vacuum.
The polarity is shifting. Yeah, man. The polarity is shifting, and it's kind of weird because when we talk about these matters,
I don't think we do.
There's a part of.
Oh,
was that more?
In a household where there's other people, you see. when
did I leave you that?
Yeah,
oh,
you,
Mr.
you
Clinical.
Don't leave it in there. Like, you do your thing, right? And you get your pineapple.
Oh yeah, I get it. Oh wait. No, I'm joking.
You know what? That's a proper boss move, though. Right, fuck you. See, but then my move would be to take that and just go on.
We'll have a fight break out here.
Then we'll see the warrior. So yeah, this is an issue that I do see. It is concerning. But what I was going to say to you, funnily enough, so right now in my life, so when I was 15, I started working business. Well, actually, I started working way younger than that, but I started teaching drums, I had my business. Yeah. I started building the studios, that sort of stuff. Yeah. So when then I sold all that at 35, because I was just too ill to function as a human being, you know, I couldn't sort of make it from my bed to the toilet kind of a deal, without having to have a little break in between. I then kind of lost all of that manliness, if you like, all of that warrior drive kind of bits and bobs like that. And now I've had 5 years of, you know, recovery, healing, working on myself, doing the work, and all that kind of shit. And actually, no, but, you know, a lot of this kind of therapy talk stuff, you know, I have been looking at my traumas, and I have been looking at my triggers, and I've been doing in the work, and all these kind of things. And you know, I've been learning about my red flags, i.e. the ones that I display, the ones that I carry around. Like, oh shit, okay, yeah, that ain't good. Clearly, a good woman ain't going to want that in her life. And I've been learning about things that I can't help, learning about things that I can help, learning about sorts of things that then I would choose in others and going, oh, of course, I had such a short-term mentality, i.e. I might be dead next week. Why am I going to be looking for this and this? I'm going to be looking for the here and the now. Mm-hmm. So again, all the habits that I had were built out of ill health, let's say, to stay alive, versus virtuous health and, what would you call it, generativity. Yeah? So it was always just try not to die versus try to live well. Yeah, that was it, literally. So I've been learning about all of these things and then where certain things come from and why I would seek out certain things and you know, this, that and the other. So I'm very much, so I see myself kind of starting again, almost like I'm 20 again. Yeah,
like a rebirth.
You know, like, okay, I'm not going to uni. I've dropped out, let's say, of uni. I'm not doing that uni thing because my brain doesn't fucking do uni thing. But I've also got quite a broken body in many respects as well. And while it's very capable in other respects, of course, But, you know, same with my mind. It's had a lot of experience. It's very, very capable.
Yeah.
But at the same time, mate, I can't barely handle stresses like I used to at all. So certain things, not it's going to break me. I'm just going to go, fuck this shit, I'm out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not, I'm not going to go, oh no, I'm going to disappoint the boss. I'm like, I can give a fuck about that boss.
Yeah.
I've been to the other side and back, and I'm like, I'm not living for that.
I get what you're saying.
Like, the only way I can live is like this, and if it's not conducive to this, then I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
You know, so my health has to come first.
Yeah.
You know? So I look at it like that. Then moving forward, I feel kind of like a lot of these young men today, a bit lost. That was a long way of saying that.
Yeah, there's such a big gap as well, and like I said, 18 to 30, there's no hard line to tread over to go, hey, you were a boy and now you're a man, you're welcomed in, you are one of the men now. There's nothing in our society that does that. Oh, you passed your driving test, congratulations, it's just you.
Or now you can drink, let's
Yeah.
get smashed.
Oh, you graduated, awesome, you're smarter than you were before.
Yeah.
What about
well, maybe not necessarily.
well, you're more intellectual than you were before.
Yeah.
You might have actually lost wisdom in your arrogance of intellect. That's a massive thing that happens with in academia. You know, I thought you was going to throw that over the phone. I was
Academia,
like,
like a nut.
yeah, academia.
Well, that's
There
what
we
I
go.
would say.
Academia.
God,
You know.
that last little bit's yours, by the way.
Oh, wicked. Oh, well, thank you, good sir.
Mate, my shoulder just crunched twice, just leaning over.
It's going on us. But there's so many of these different places that we think are the pinnacle of success, and like this means you're a man now. You got a job. This means you're a man now.
Yeah.
And there's so many other areas that don't get talked about. They don't get brought up, and it kind of just gets swept onto the carpet. And it's getting to a point where there's like this big societal problem starting to grow. Yeah, it really is. It's like there's a monster growing underneath your carpet, and it's huge now, and no one's talking about it.
Yeah.
What do you think with regards to talking about men's stuff and men's issue? How do you feel like society and ladies and just other people in general feel about when you talk about men's issues? Is it something that you've got an opinion on, or how do you feel about that?
Okay, so personally, I'm going to talk from a slightly biased perspective, I think. Potentially a perspective that isn't going to be most people's perspective.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm going to give you it regardless.
The disclaimer.
I have been met with nothing but positivity from everybody.
Oh wow, that's
Personally.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it's because I'm very unique. I have a very unique way of talking about things. I have a very unique take on the world, and also I do shit. Right? So when I'm not going to say playing the victim, because I never played a victim. When I'm just the victim of my health, my insides, my genetics, life. Do you know what I mean? When I am, as I say, no one else's fault. I'm not going to blame the outside world, but at that time, I'm getting my ass kicked by this kind of invisible force from within. Let's say, I'm a victim in some way. Yeah, I'm a victim of some pain, some trauma, something. No one's going to court, no one's going to jail, but
you're just getting your ass kicked.
I'm getting my ass kicked. I'm still doing things.
Yeah.
So when I'm sort of crying my eyes out and saying I'm really fucking having a hard time, I'm not being a bitch about it. People go, wow, man, he must be having a really fucking hard time. You're still cracking on. But it's actually really hard to be around, because when someone like myself, who appears so capable most of the time, well, anytime you'd see me, basically, I'm like, wow, that guy can do all the stuff. Yes, because no one sees behind the scenes. Yeah. And so it also, again, kind of almost like that, Don't Meet Your Heroes, you'd say, oh, fuck, man, he can't do anything.
Yeah.
You know, like, he
The other
just
side of
coughed and shit himself.
Yeah.
You know, wow, that's embarrassing. Like, yeah, that's really embarrassing.
Yeah.
You know, I'd hope no one ever has to go through that. And if you have to go through that, I hope whoever can clear it up for you is very understanding and nice about it, and doesn't rub your nose in it. You know, that's just some weird cruelty. But, you know, the idea that then over the years, I have been, you know, I'd be in hospital and just sharing with whoever it is asking me, and it's just a very matter-of-fact thing. Yeah. So there's been times, many, many times, where I'm there, just sat in a chair, crying my eyes out because I'm overwhelmed with emotion, just talking about the experience I'm having of how hard it is to be, just to exist, to breathe in and out, you know, just all the pain and shit that I'm dealing with. And the doctor's just waiting for me to finish bawling my eyes out, and then they're on to the next question. Yeah. You know, what you want at that point is the hug. You don't get that. You just get the, okay, cool, next. And so for me, everything's been very matter of fact. So I can talk to women, but again, I say women, like I will, when I was trampolining, I don't know what it is about my face, because I think I'm quite like, But kids fucking love me.
Yeah.
And I'd always get the kids coming up and chatting to me. Hey, can you watch me do this? Watch me do that. I'm like, I have no idea who you are. Because you saw that kid talk to me, you think I'm the
That
sort
you're
of person
right.
you do. And so and then all of a sudden, I'm just chatting to her. Oh, can you come and do that?
You're the guy on the block.
I'm
You're
here
the guy on the
to-
block,
I just
you know.
want to do my bloody thing, you know what I mean? So I can talk to anyone of any age about anything. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, if I'm talking to someone younger, I'm going to leave out some gruesome details and
Yeah.
leave out certain things, you know, like you would in a movie. And if I'm talking to someone who I don't really think they've got the intellect to really fully
Comprehend
take in
it.
exactly all
Yeah.
this, so I might give them the short and the abridged version.
Yeah.
I might use fewer fancy words. You know, I use a lot of like things and stuff and things.
Yeah.
But they get the point. And so for me, I think I've always been very, very open,
Yeah.
very honest, and because I am just like I am, you know, warts and all, like I say, I wear my heart very much on my sleeve.
Do you feel like you've been received well because of that,
very
because
well
of your
as
honesty?
a result? But
Yeah.
at the same time, whenever anyone has been near me when I've been ill, including family, like family have stuck around, i.e., in the long run.
Yeah.
But it's so tough when you're that ill, and it is that tough. It's such an extreme emotion, such an extreme period of time. Anyone who's not related to me, bar one or two people, I don't see them again.
Okay.
So they are close for that period of time. They get real burnt. And
go.
while they don't like hate me or anything, it's just that I can't be around that.
Yeah.
I can't.
It's too much.
It's time plus
It's too
proximity,
much.
You know what I mean? It is too
Yeah.
much. So family have always been in my life. Like I said about music, I've not done it reliably, consistently, day in, day out, but I've continued to do it.
Yeah.
So same with my family, our relationships are
Yeah.
again and again and again. But they're family, so we just keep, you know, coming back and coming out, and that's the way it works.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, in terms of that with family, like they were very supportive in that way of me. It was never, nothing was ever expected of me except to die.
Yeah.
Which is a really weird thing.
Do you feel like it's different with other men as a society, with how men are kind of men's issues are kind of approached and seen?
Honestly,
because in my opinion, it seems to be on the up now. I feel like it's there's attention that's starting to be brought towards
men
it.
having the issue with it.
Men having the issue with
Talking about. So
Oh.
any issues they have. So for example, if your dick don't work, so my dick used to be mwah, right? It was just right? Now it doesn't work like it used to work.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing. It's horrible to have to admit. No one wants to go, hey Doc, can I get some pills of this? And no one wants to have to say to a girl, oh yeah, do you know what? I'm just going to wear a cock ring because it's not you, it's me. You know, I just take far too many painkillers and it's Deadwood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, so it doesn't really feel much anymore. So, like I say, it's not you.
Yeah.
It's just not sexy. It's, you know, none of these things are kind of nice conversations to have. There's no cool way of bringing up. I don't, by the way, but there's no cool way of bringing up. Hi, excuse me, I've got herpes. Just before you put that in me, you know, it's that kind of deal. There's no nice way to bring these things up. So
That's such a great
fortunately
point.
for me. Like whenever, I'm like because I can't have kids, right? I can't. My sperms don't swim. So for me, one of the kind of the silver linings is, I can have sex without a condom. And it just feels so much better. If you've never done it, oh my days, it's just so much better. Oh, by
Don't
the way,
follow the
do you know-
funds
do
if
you
you
know
think-
we
if
were-
your
do you know
sperm
we
is
were talking
swimming,
about
we don't want
last
any
week,
crazy-
but, I'm going to hear what you said when I listen to it back. By the way. I didn't hear it. But we were talking about the AI sex bot things. Like,
Oh, yes.
So I tried one of those arse pussy combo things. Do
Okay.
You know, the flesh.
yeah.
lump thing, the silicone thing. Rubbish. I mean, if you've never had anything, you might be able to be tricked into believing it's something, but it's not a thing.
Yeah.
So
I get what you
I thought I'd try it anyway. COVID, I was like, you know what? I might be locked in my house for 20 years.
Come on
all
over.
that, you know what I mean? Yeah, basically, you know, some conversations really fucking awkward. So I was always able to sleep with girls without a condom as long as I sort of knew, as in they reassured me they didn't have any STDs.
Yeah.
I was willing to roll the dice. Willing to roll the dice.
Willing to
Re-
roll the
willing to-
dice.
I'm gonna
Let's
try
get
to
that
say,
one down as well.
Willing to roll the dice. That's hard for me to say. Willing to roll the dice. Also because I was always on 2 antibiotics at any given time, one of which would be an antibiotic they would give you if you had an STD. So basically, whenever I went for a check, because I'd always go for a check just in case. The guy was like,
Would you like one's down anyway? You're not going to find one of
them. I'm
them.
never going to find anything.
I'm already
because
dosed
you're
up.
always- yeah, exactly. And so, but
That's
it's just
such a
my
mad-
own. Do you know what I mean? My own personal kind of
Yeah.
thing. Is like, I'd never want to say to a girl, "I've been checked," if I haven't been checked. And I'd always get regular bloods done at the hospital. All these kind of things. But it was that idea of I'd always managed to, before I just slip it in, have that awkward conversation of, you know, condom, STDs, pregnancy, blah, 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 blah. Make it real smooth.
Yeah.
Right? And it was always received really well in every way you want to take
Yeah.
that sentence. But I think men lack the ability to have awkward conversations. I think men, any minor thing that is in a weakness in their armor, they feel like the whole world is going to go pouring in through that one weakness. Whereas me over the years, because I've had so many weaknesses, but I've also been like, I don't want to say the word top dog, but the one that everyone's looked up to.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, you know, you're that guy. But I've also been the
bottom of the
absolute
heap as
bottom.
well.
So I've been the top of the top and the bottom of the bottom. I was once described as Chief Cool Kid.
Chief what?
Chief Cool Kid.
Chief Cool Kid.
Right? What was funny is the guy that was telling this girl that I was Chief Cool Kid, so knew me back from school, as in he was part of the sort of the nerdy geeky group sort of thing. So he knew of me. I knew who he was, but I never interacted with the kid. But he liked her. He was kind of like simping after her. And she sort of inquired about me, and he thought, because she was a nerd as well, telling her he was Chief Cool Kid, that would make her go, oh no, I don't want him. She was like, oh really? Chief, you say?
Chief Cool Kid, you say?
So I could be the nerd girl who gets the cool guy. And I don't think he quite realised what he was saying when he was saying.
He set himself up for a terrible situation.
I've had the benefit of being both guys, of feeling like you're almost invincible. The whole world is clapping and cheering for you. Everyone's coming to watch you do the show just for you. The whole hall fills up. But I've been the guy literally clinging on, just trying to breathe in and out. The guy who, you know, who can't hold it together. The guy who is just breaking down, and 100%. There's a room full of people just staring at him in a bed, waiting for him to stop crying.
You definitely do have a unique situation, because like you're saying, being at the top and the bottom not being like, oh, things aren't going well, I'm feeling depressed and whatnot. Like, hey, I might die tonight. Like, that's literally like, I might die tonight. So I think you've got a very unique perspective and way of doing things, especially with your candidness and how you are able to express these things. Like we've been having our conversations, man, over the last couple of months. It's like, wow, like some of the things that we talk about, like, I don't, like, it takes so much longer for people to like declare it and go, hey, like, this is me. It's you know, this is a shadowy part of me.
They carry like,
it's a taboo. It's a taboo,
every
man.
time they think about saying it, or every time that it is there at the forefront of their mind. Let's just say, for example, you like, so it happened to me on a walk. So we are part of a men's group, a workout men's group. First of all, it's workout. So F3, fitness, fellowship, faith. And fun, obviously, we added the 4th F.
Oh, 4th F always.
And so a lot of it is out of shape dads who, you know, coming along, getting a bit of camaraderie in the morning, you know, getting the workout done and then going on. Anyway, so one of the dudes, he must have had, because he was kind
some of those dads are in shape as well. They get after it. They get after it.
But because he was a couple of years older than me, I can imagine when he was growing up, he got taunted for being gay. So
who's this? Sorry,
very much one of the guys.
Oh, one of the guys.
One
okay,
of the guys who goes to the reserve. So very much sort of reserved. And it was then we were on a walk, and he went, "Oh, this is the point I tell you I'm gay." But that must have hung as almost like a tinted glasses in front of his whole being, his whole life.
Yeah.
You know, still in his mid-40s, it's something which it sort of gives it a while before.
It's hard before you can open up and go, hey.
And so I think there's so many guys who anything, and like I say, I went to an all-boys school, so I know for sure that any particular weakness someone feels like they can pounce on, they will try and pounce on it.
I think that's what the problem is, especially with men, because young men, it's like a pack of hyenas. Like if you show one little thing, you're gonna get dived on and tore to pieces. And what you don't realise is, as you grow up and you surround yourself with, hopefully, with more mature, balanced men, is you can open up and say these things and talk about these things, and you're not going to be dived on and tore to shreds. We carry that mentality of the senior school version of us that's 13, 15, 16, that's like, hey, I better keep this under wraps because I'm gonna get artillery shells if I show this. And it's just not the case a lot of the time. If you are an older man and this is still the case, you need to get yourself some new friends. You need to get yourself some new
but
friends.
Again, some of our friends have literally expressed that they're in their late 30s, and they only had friends that they could see down the pub. They only had friends they can get drunk with. They didn't have proper friends they could confide in. They didn't have proper friends they could just go and do something healthy with.
Yeah,
you know, that's the other thing.
A lot of trauma bonding going on.
Yeah, and this is it. I think again for me, growing up, it was the kind of that aggression. I think helped me. For sure, it's like, and what the fuck are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So what?
Yeah.
So, like, and so some people who, I guess you'd call it own it. in that kind
Conviction,
of sense.
man.
Yeah,
It's
conviction.
that's the energy of
And
the
so
king,
I was
yeah.
always extremely convicted in that way. But I remember, so my physical weakness and insecurity when I had IVs. So IVs is when you get a line put in your arm and it goes in and you get antibiotics directly put into it. So I'd get IVs in hospital and sometimes I would stay in. But oftentimes, especially in those kind of teenage years, I was like, no, I'm not going to miss so much school.
Yeah.
So I would go to school with the IVs in. And so you'd be out of hospital, you'd do home IVs, so I'd get up various different times of the day and night sometimes, and I would do the IVs, and I'd go to school, but it means you've got a line in your arm, and it means that getting knocked and banged and any of these kind of things, especially again, it's like an all-boys school, there's 1,000 aggressive boys, and so if you bang it, it can knacker the line, you have to go in hospital, get it replaced.
That definitely must have played a role as well.
All these kind of bullshit things, and it's also just painful, and you can't really use that arm properly. And so I would have dreams where I had like an IV in, and I'd always feel very physically vulnerable, very not insecure, vulnerable is the word. I'd have dreams where that was the case. I'm like, oh no, and so I'd be out and about in the world. I'm like, oh no, I've got an IV in. Oh no, shit, I'm in a rough neighbourhood, and I've got a vulnerability here. Right, and it was a physical. Oh shit, yeah. Because if stuff goes,
it can be seen.
Someone yanks at this. I've got this. Like, so oftentimes you would have like I can't even sort of thing here, but like a dangly thing coming out as well. There was sometimes as long as down to your hand, so that you could hold it and put the stuff in.
Yeah.
So you've not only that, but you've got this line,
the whole
around
contraption
in the outside world. That if that accidentally got yanked, this thing can
you're handicapped in a way that everybody can see.
So yeah, and so for me it was very much like it would be sore, it would be painful.
And did you have that feeling of vulnerability while you had it in the real world, or was that just a feeling that overcome you? Oh, really? Okay.
So I had to be very careful and cautious of it because they would break a lot as well.
Did you cover it up, or did you just leave with conviction to cover it up?
You'd have it covered up with a bandage and that sort of stuff a lot of the time, but sometimes it's just boiling up. And I'd often catch it on stuff as well. So again, it's that kind of, even if there was nothing, it wouldn't have to kick off, it wouldn't be a malicious thing. It could just be, fuck, but it's painful. So again, it's that, I've got to remember, I've got this thing that goes inside my vein that I've got to be careful about. So that for me, again, when you're as aggressive as a sort of nature, I wasn't the big dominating force. I'm not that kind of, imposing stature. I'm fucking instantly gonna come right back at you. I'm smart, I'm quick, I'm explosive, I'm aggressive, and I will take pain like you wouldn't believe. So that's why you don't fight me, not because I'm a big guy. Do you know what I'm saying? So
it's
again,
because you're the
it's
fight
that
in the
kind
dark.
of thing. So feeling that kind of vulnerability, but still presenting with that. I guess it's not a front. I guess it's just that. Like I'm still gonna be me. Regardless.
Not letting it get in the way.
And I think so many boys and therefore men never have that, and this is what you're talking about, that kind of that challenge and several challenges, because oftentimes, let's just say some African tribes, they wouldn't just be you're going to do one thing one time.
Oh man, it's got to be rounds.
It's
got to be rounds
of it, exactly. As you age, we're going to make it more tricky.
You can't take a weekend course to become a man. It doesn't work.
And so I very much had that baptism of fire in my life, in many realms.
Do you feel like because they don't get that pain, going back off of what you were saying with the covering up, that's kind of where machoism seems to come from.
Overcompensating.
It's overcompensating for the weaknesses.
Arrogant and macho. And for sure, at times I was overcompensating.
Yeah.
But I still had very much a grounding. So I remember one time, because it came like funny enough, you told a story last week. I was in town. And the stupidest. There was like 20 of us and 3 of them, and it was oi. This was for whatever it was. Back in our day, are you bogging at me? Right, I mean,
are you eyeballing me?
You eyeballing me? You looking at me? So, you know what I mean? Like, are you bogging at me? And these 3 kids come just walking down towards us, and this is why I know it could just kick off for nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
You bogging at me? And this kid was like, no. And so kids who he was a year above me, I didn't like him. There was a few people who were with us that I didn't like, and they weren't my friends. And he's just gone, bang. And this kid just stood there, looked at him, and he went, you hurt my fist. I went, in my brain, I'm like, you look like a knob right now.
Who punched who? Wait there.
So the kid who not my friend.
Is this one of the larger pack?
Yeah, so year above, right, on our side, let's say, he's gone, are you bogging at me? The 3 kids, right, in my year, not from my school, but I think they're in my year. And kids like, No, you know, just confronted. Like, you can't run away at that point. It's There's about, I think there's about 10 of us, you know, something like that. Anyway, and about 5 of them were people that I was friends with, and about another 5 were these twats. And so anyway, this twat twatted him. And then he's gone, ow, you hurt my fist.
Oh.
And the kid just takes a punch and just looks at him, and now he's saying, well, okay.
So he's complaining about the fact that he hit the kid.
He hit the kid, and now his fist hurts.
Oh,
and I was just thinking, you look like a fucking knobhead right now. You look like an absolute... And then I think one of them turned, but it was that, oh, run. And I've never, ever got involved in any of those fights. I thought it was the stupidest thing. And I just carried on walking, like in the direction we were going, just carried on walking. And the couple opposite were like, opposite side of the road, I was like in their 30s or whatever, like looked at me and I just went, new shoes. And just carried on walking on.
You're one-liners in the situation.
I don't believe in such things. You know what I mean? It's just like a little passing comment like, that's why I can't run new shoes. But yeah, so many times things like that happened, in town, and it's just like kicks off because kids are trying to prove shit. It's all about bravado.
It's nonsensical violence.
Macho,
just over
and again, like funny enough, the same friend who got stabbed in the neck, he would always try and start on people just to try and prove himself. Why?
Yeah. It's a desperation. It comes off as desperate. It really does.
When he's a popular kid.
Yeah.
Well, with ladies, like people liked him. He was a funny kid, smart enough. And why do you need to go around starting fights? What are you trying to prove? Yeah. That he felt insecure inside. Clearly,
that's exactly what I was just about to say.
And so for me, I was always, I had so many insecurities, but I guess I've never let them get the better of me.
Yeah.
But again, because I think I've got that very unique stance on life.
Yeah.
I think that's been, that kind of saving grace.
It's like an anchor, you know what I mean?
Yeah, if you like, it has very much kept me grounded.
Most definitely. It's weird, like it's all based off of insecurity as well. And you can tell when someone's coming in and they're trying to be, you know what I mean? They're trying to best other people for no apparent reason, apart from to kid themselves into thinking that they are enough, because without that besting of the other person, they don't feel enough.
This is why we were talking about, and I think I posed you the question, do the people that are the best and have the most, are they the most insecure? Because it's all like they've got something to prove. They've got to get X millions, they've got to drive X car, they've got to have X person on their arm, they've got to have this in the bank account, they've got to brag about it, they've got to constantly show, and they've got to outwardly show their wealth and this and that. Why? What are you compensating for? What are you trying to overcome inside that isn't enough?
I think it's definitely a king problem. It's a problem with the king.
It's an immature king now.
Yes, it's an out of balance king. Okay. And usually they go to the opposite side to get more to fulfill the emptiness that they feel inside.
But more does not satiate.
You can't.
More will crush you. That's the thing.
Everything that you need to get is inside you. It's inside you. It's with your connection to those things inside you.
And so when you connect to the things in the outside, well, it switches on those things on the inside.
It kids
you into more and more of the same thing. Like, mate, that's already topped out, man. You can't get any more of that.
Yeah,
shit.
and like, it's only when you get to that point where you realise, like, some people get there, some people never get there. You get to that point where you go, oh, I got the bigger car, and I've had it for 3 weeks now, and nothing's actually changed. I still don't feel fulfilled. Yeah. Now, if your magician's online and you go, well, if that's not, then the new bar that you're setting yourself, which you go, oh, well, higher up on that ladder must be where the answer is, because getting halfway up didn't work. So obviously I need to go higher. If you don't have the ability to go,
is this ladder worth climbing?
Yeah, this isn't the ladder to climb. Maybe the ladder's in the opposite direction. What you get is people who are just constantly climbing this endless, and they're just miserable. It's never enough.
One-upmanship, man. Like we used to call it keeping up with Joneses, didn't we? But one-upmanship is the best way for a miserable life.
Yeah.
Constantly comparing yourself to others.
And the only way those people who are looking for more find that brief moment of feeling enough is by flexing, stunting. That's the Shadow King. I've got more than you. So taking away from somebody else.
Actually, a lot of guys do. They go on I'm not going to say TRT. It's not testosterone replacement therapy, but it's just they go on. Tren? Is it Tren? Tren.
Tren's one of the
any
anabolics.
Kind of steroidy kind of thing. Because you do get those, like you get some that shy away and some that go into the warrior, but they just go into the get swole.
Get
thing.
Massive.
Just get massive.
The bigger.
That's literally as far as that thought goes.
Yeah.
Just get big.
If I get big, that will fix me. And he's like, no, there's tons of work that needs to be done on the inside.
So they can show they can do the work, but they're just doing it in the wrong...
It's external, it's material, it's in the physical realm, and how you feel, the vast majority of it, once you've got your basics and you're no longer in danger of literally dying of starvation or whatnot, and you've got your bases covered, you're sat in a house and it's well lit and you've got food in your fridge, your sense of well-being is inside. Your connection to those energies on the inner realm, and people don't understand that, because that sense of spirituality gets wrapped up within religion, and if you're not religious, then you can't be spiritual, and that's a lie.
There's a lot of connection that gets missed because people don't have religion.
Yes.
Like I always said, so while I grew up in the church and that, I always said I don't believe in the God that's in the Bible kind of God.
Yeah.
But I do believe that church can be beneficial for people purely on a relationship, community basis. And if people don't go, like for example, when COVID sort of stopped churches, I said to my brother, because he runs a church with his some of his couple friends.
Oh, sweet.
And yeah, I said that it's reading out the sermon over Zoom or whatever it was is not going to have the same. I said also you might have someone just strumming and singing and playing guitar as like a performance, but I was like, but no, people aren't congregating together, they're not singing together, they're not dancing together, they're not moving together. We are magnetic creatures. We do these things together.
100%.
And you are now basically splitting it all. And he was like, oh, yeah, maybe, well, if it's still with that. Anyway, gave me this thing back. And 18 months later, he read a post about this pastor saying how much the church has suffered because they're not actually singing together and actually dancing together and actually going. I was like, I swear someone was talking about
Yeah, a benefit, a nice balanced church is a great place to get so many of those energies, that sense of community.
Is it a good place to meet women and for women to meet men?
I think that, number one, it depends on who you are. I don't know.
Yeah, my answer's no.
I don't.
I've to tell you why, because I know people who go to church
with the pristine ideal.
Yeah.
There's always a fucking underbelly, mate. There's always an underbelly, and so like when
it's always the preacher's daughter.
And that's what it is. If the ideal's too high and you can't cope with that, and you push all of those instincts and you don't accept them as part of who you are, like, hey, I have sexual urges, this is part of being a human being. No, we don't do sex.
Yeah,
never do sex.
They try and neuter sex in the church, don't they?
That's why you've got all the Amish doing soaking, do you know what I mean? And that's basically like they're pushing the limits of what they can get away with because to satisfy their primal needs. They're going in there and they're just hanging out in there. It's called soaking. Yeah. But technically, in God's eyes, we're not actually having sex because the motion isn't. But they'll get their friend underneath the bed to bounce the bed. Yeah. They're doing everything but the thing. Everything.
All the loopholes and the workarounds.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Technically.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what I do think, done right, it's an amazing place. There's nowhere that the shadows don't go. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And
you can't just
escape it. A lot of people
it.
go to church to hide in plain sight in that way. I do.
And an easy way to do it is we're good, wholesome Christians. Well, these guys are terrible. These guys are terrible. But us, you see us.
We're the shit, mate. We're lovely.
We're chef's kiss.
Do you know what? I also feel like a lot of people
trash
go to church
because
the rest of life they struggle with. So they go, I'm gonna fall back on church and the church take care of me. Yeah.
I think if you are missing out on connection and community, it's still a good place to go. You know what I mean? There's plenty of great people who reside in churches and other religious places as well.
God-fearing people. You're a guy, right? So obviously I know like we do F3, so we do the thing that basically we have access to a workout most days of the week.
Yeah.
We can turn up early in the morning. Now obviously we've got to drag ourselves out of bed, and oftentimes in the winter the weather's shit.
Ooh, and it's pitch black.
It's pitch black. It's horrible, but you know there's going to be other dudes there, like-minded dudes who want to get up, get it done early and just crack on with their day. Yeah. And it is always a good laugh, isn't it? We do always have a good bit of fun.
F3.
And we also do things outside of just the workouts as well. That's the whole point of the fellowship side of things as well. And a couple of the guys are actually going to help me in the garden at the weekend.
Oh, you said Saturday, didn't you?
Time, I think.
Yeah,
so, we do that, but that isn't everywhere at the moment.
No.
And obviously, as a guy, you could go to the gym, but the gym culture I think is fucking weird.
It's secular. It's very weird.
With the cameras everywhere nowadays, and So where's a good third place to go as a guy?
It's like a physical fitness sweatshop lately. That's how it feels. You get stuck in your little box.
Yeah.
It's like working an office job in the gym. And like everyone's on the
HR departments, and you can't do this, and you can't say that, and you can't look over there, and you can't do.
There's no one like sitting around having a talk. There's no sense of community. I go in, I lift my weights, and I come out. It's like, I paid for a roof over this set of weights, so I don't get wet. So I don't have to buy them at home. That's all it is.
Someone's annoyed because you're on their machine.
Man, it's so weird and it's very segregated. It doesn't give you what you need as a human.
So where can people go in this modern age? So obviously it's 2025. We're in June 2025. We live in the UK in the Midlands. I mean, you know, society doesn't have that much. Where do we go? What do we do?
Man, F3's great. Hey, I'm plugging it right here.
But let's say you haven't got
If
that.
you don't, community centres are fantastic, but it's one of those
Well,
things.
what's a community centre?
A centre for the community.
Okay, yeah, but so to me, a community, because I used to volunteer at a community centre, and you just get all the fucking scallywags, scumbags turning up there and just doing whatever they want.
It depends on the community centre.
Right.
They will have various different things, different groups for men's groups, women's groups for various different things. You could have mother and child groups.
Okay, so let's just go back. So obviously,
groups.
if you're a man, you're not going to go to a mother and child group.
Yeah.
So you get the men's group. Tell us about what that might consist of. What might that look like? So you're a dude. You're
okay.
like,
I've been to.
You don't do fitnessy stuff, right?
Yeah.
And you don't know any people. Let's say you're living in a city. You don't know anyone there. Yeah. So you go to work. You fucking hate your job.
Yeah.
And you come back. You got no. There's no prospects. There's nothing. There's nothing going on. You're lacking all this connection, and you're just staring at your phone.
So one of the men's groups I go to, I've been to a couple of times. It's over in Warsaw. Mindkind Projects. Shout out. Very great.
So
great place.
Mindkind.
Mindkind's project.
Is that a national thing? Is that just a Warsaw
No,
thing?
it's a Warsaw thing.
Just a Warsaw
Yeah,
thing,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. But it's
Might there be similar things in other areas?
most definitely,
Okay.
most definitely.
Government thing?
Funded.
Local council thing?
Yeah,
Okay.
funded by councils and whatnot.
So it's possible.
And they have a campfire, a men's talk, where men come around. It's an artificial campfire, and they just keep men getting round in a circle and just being posed questions, listening in. Not even if you don't want to talk, just being able to listen in and share the struggles, the wins, the losses of other men, and being in that sense of community and feeling like you're shared in this experience going through this life, and not just being alone, stuck, locked in your bedroom, going through the cycle of work, sleep, home, or even just waking up and just going down to the kitchen and back. There's a lot of men that are stuck there. Like to go out and to
don't have to leave the house. Why would you leave the house?
Yeah,
it's
that's
a thing,
it.
I think in Japan, I'm going to say the hikikimori, but that's probably again a butchering of that thing. But it's basically a term for guys who have just checked out of life and who are reclusive, essentially.
It's a thing. It's a legit thing. Like, I'm not doing well at playing this game. Why am I gonna put myself in more struggle to try and get further up and not get the results that I
as
want
you were
to?
telling the thing, I'm trying to look for the passage.
Oh, what was the-
I
was
can't
it a
find
question?
It. I can't find it.
Oh, okay,
No,
no problem.
basically, we were talking about you said it. I don't think it's fear that's stopping me do the thing, because I'm thinking about doing public speaking, and actually for the rest of my life, it's not making me shit my pants. And
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah,
100%.
blah, blah. And I read the thing about the thing that I wanted to read, so I'll do for next week. I'll find it and I highlighter. That was one of the things I forgot to
Boom.
buy.
Oh, I got a bunch of highlights.
But basically that was the reason for your procrastination.
Yeah.
I read it in there and
Was
just
it
nailed it.
Was it pseudo work by any chance? The feeling of getting the chemical dopamine rush of completing the task, but not actually doing the
It was
task.
something about the magician, the perfectionist in the magician, and if you actually do the thing, there's no way the thing can be what you want it to be. So
Ooh.
if you never, it's kind of this. Basically, if you live in a fantasy world, in your fantasy, the imagination can be tip top, fucking perfect, right?
Yeah.
And whenever you try and execute anything in the real world, naturally it's going to get
not gonna
muddled,
be perfect.
yeah, because it's a muddy world out
Yeah.
there, right? So anything, it's not going to be exactly as you want it to be. So as long as you never actually make it,
You can keep
can
it perfect
never
in
be
your
wrong.
mind.
You can keep it perfect in your. So the realization of its imperfection is the thing that you're actually rallying against potentially.
So in doing the thing and bringing it into the physical realm, you destroy its perfection.
By bringing it into the physical realm, you realize you're flawed.
Yeah.
And you don't really want to know that.
That's awesome.
Even though you are that. You
Yeah.
know? So again, well, going back to the whole, like,
That's
so
awesome.
I know that I'm hugely physically flawed, and so for me, while there are shortcomings I have, let's say on a personality level, things I can work on, things that I can go, do you know what? That's not necessarily ideal, and I don't love about, how I don't
About
love that
myself.
about myself, how I behave or how I, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
So, for me, these things are. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
Regardless of what I do, say, think, want, hope for, it just
This is reality. This is what it is right
I've
now.
got to do it or don't do it. You know what I mean? And so when it's messy, it's like, yeah, it's messy. I mean, what do you want from me?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it sucks.
Today's
What do you
the
want
day.
from me? And so I would always be honest with doctors, always be honest with the healthcare team, and they would always remark on how honest I was and how upfront I was with stuff. And if I was going to do a thing, I'd say I'll do it. If I was going to try, I'd say I'll try. If I said if I didn't want to do it or whatever, I'd say I'm not going to say yes and then not do it and then lie.
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
I think it's a great quality to have, and that for me, that's the absolute top of my list is honesty. Being honest, and it's being honest to other people.
What is that? Is that the king? that the magician?
Honesty, I'd say the magician, truth.
Magician.
Because
Okay.
magicians are
Truth.
seekers of the
Yeah,
truth,
yeah,
and
yeah.
teachers will be spreaders of the truth, and shadow magicians will hide the truth from you, and they'll
Right.
mislead you with manipulation.
Okay.
So yeah, truth would definitely fall under the magician. And so, what was I saying? Regarding honesty, yeah, it's at the top of my list. I feel like accepting things as they are, it's okay. That's a process I've been going through. Like you're saying, like, hey, it's perfect
Acceptance
in
is
my,
a big word.
yeah, it's perfect in my mind, and if I bring it out of my mind, then it can't be perfect. And like it shows the flaws. Like accepting things as they are. Be honest with yourself, because there's so much stuff that gets caught up in life when you start to lie to yourself and not be honest with who you are, where you are, what's going on.
Where you are is another thing.
Oh man, you can kid yourself into all sorts of things, and that's essentially switching the magician offline. Denial, you're just in denial of what's going on, and denial is essentially you're just lying to
I
yourself.
love a bit of denial.
You're just lying to yourself about
yeah.
what's going on. Oh, she's amazing. She was round his house last night. What are you
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about?
yeah.
Oh, she's the
she'd
one for
never
me.
Do that. Do you know what
She's
makes
the
me
one
laugh?
for me.
This is so harsh, right? But I've been several times over the years the guy that women have used to cheat with, so that they can finish their relationship.
Wow,
been
to
that
really
guy.
pull that cord.
Basically, like, well, if I do that with this guy, A, he's not going to challenge him,
Yeah.
and B, like, that's it. I'm never going back after that. And the sort of person I am gives them the sort of comfort that it will be okay.
Yeah.
Because I'll make sure it's okay. Because I'm just like a kind of nice dude in that sort of sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, it was always like I would. Looking back now, I wouldn't do it now. But back then, it was like, yeah, why not? It's not my missus.
Yeah.
You know, and it's harsh when people have that. Oh, my wife would never do this. Not my girl.
Yeah.
It's like,
Those things happen when you've got the person who wants to stay in a relationship in denial, and then you've got the person who wants to get out, being passive and not having the sword to cut cut the tie. You know what I mean?
Well, this again, I guess men are very passive now. They never used to be able to be passive.
Yeah.
You used to have to fight.
You had to do
that
it,
was
man.
that. You used to have to just get on the fucking grind. Life was just much more difficult. Now you can be passive.
It's okay.
And passivity is just kind of sought out, really.
Being a domesticated man is more socially accepted as being a man who runs a little bit high. Way more.
Oh, 100%.
I do understand
100%.
it. I do understand it a little bit, because the guys who really do go off the charts on the high stuff, that's where you get the patriarchy in actual sense of the old school patriarchy, not like a society that's led by men, a society that's completely tyrannized and destroyed and tore to pieces, and women being abused. That's the far end of it. I understand that, but there's a little difference between someone who runs a little bit high and someone who's literally just enslaving people. Do you know what I mean? And there's a very big difference between it, and I think that we oversimplify things, that because someone's got a little bit more of that raw energy and they haven't completely channeled it yet, doesn't mean that they're a
that's
fucking
the issue,
demon.
is the learning how to channel it in a
Yes.
healthy way, and like you said, generative way.
Yeah.
And it is about that, and so that's not really taught. And that's why you've got some just retreating and being really passive and being very feminine. And you've got some getting really aggressive, going on all the roids and just trying to get massive so they can sort of physically dominate their character inferiority flaws.
100%.
Which is,
100% the
again, it's
inferiority,
never going to
superiority.
end well when those kind of people try to take any action.
Because they're never trying to find balance. It doesn't seem like they're ever trying to find balance. They think they're looking for it, but actually they usually overshoot it way too much. And so you see people who go from not having enough to becoming that person. Like, oh, I was a loser, so now I'm going to be a guy who punishes, uses and abuses
revenge,
those women
revenge,
who would, now I've got loads of money and a fancy car.
Oh.
Now you want me,
Do you
don't
know
you?
where
Really
that's
resentful
classic
against
as
women.
well?
Bah.
The policeman who was bullied as a kid.
Boom. Man like Mabine.
Policeman bullied as a kid gets out.
Oh,
Now
the power.
I'm in charge. I can do what. What did you say, boy?
The power. Yeah, man. There's a guy in Man Like Mabine.
I
he's
know
a
of it. I've
Birmingham one.
seen it.
Oh, it's fantastic because they pull up and there's two officers. One's all right, one's a bit of a dickhead, and then there's the other one, and he's the guy. He's like a smaller guy. He looks a bit more. Well, you could tell he was probably the meek guy, and like now he's got the power. Like he's a complete arsehole. He's the worst of all of them. He's coming in and they're like, "What are you doing, man?" Like talking about like when they was 11 years old, what they got up to and pissing around, and he's like, "No, we're gonna arrest you," and it's crazy to see the flip. If there's nobody to guide you,
That's the thing,
these transformative experiences, they don't balance you out. They just cause extra trauma. Because now you've been that side and had the terrible. Now you're that side and you're getting it terrible. And you just flip-flopping between the two. You need some type of ritual out of a person with wisdom. And it doesn't have to be someone who's had these PhDs and these accolades. It can be someone who's
Don't have
lived.
to have X amount in the bank.
No,
they
man.
don't have to have shagged 1,000 women.
No.
Like, that's not how life works.
They've got to be someone who understands the pathway. They understand like
Grounded.
where you are, 100% centered, and have been able to occupy different quarters at different times.
Had experience
He's a man who's got control
in the world.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm quite glad, like in business. So I've not had a multi-million-pound business, but I've had very good experience with business to a good enough level.
Yeah.
I've never had fame, but I've had a level of fame in my local area and stuff like that. Hang on, do you want to bit that one? So
Getting
I've
hydrated
had
over at the Fonzies, mate. Getting
I've had the
hydrated.
experiences that really helped me to set me up. Does that make sense? So in that way, I can draw on a wealth of. Is this better water somehow?
No, I'm saying, do you want some? Because
Oh,
you
no,
only got a
no,
little
no,
bit for
I'm good,
yourself.
I'm good.
Okay.
I was like, oh, this water's good. I'm like, same tap, mate.
Top
Literally
glass.
one after the other. Yeah, and that's where I'm very fortunate to have had enough of different experiences, but also with my health to have had the most extreme of experiences.
Yeah.
So while I've not had all of the extremes, I've had one to such an extreme where it makes you understand the severity, just how serious certain things are, just how painful certain things are, just how much you think, oh, I can handle this, I can still make it to work. Are you? No. Like there's certain things which your body literally just cuts out from underneath you and you are on the floor done. That is it. You don't get a say in it. People go, well, I would never do this and I would never do. You've never had your body just do one on you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's never been that bad.
Yeah, experience plus reflection. If you've had the experiences and then you get to reflect on it, that's when you become actually truly reflect on it and refine it. Like, where could I have gone better there? Could I have done this differently?
Well, I was also going to
What
say
about
that it
so-and-so?
depends on how you reflect, because I reflect on it like, how can I set future me up for success?
Yeah.
Some people simply, I guess that might be the word, ruminate rather than reflect, but they just dwell on it over and over, and they go, that person's a twat, that person's a twat, that person's like, they're not thinking, how can I avoid that in future? How could I do it differently?
Maybe positive reflection and introspection, because there is a difference.
Yes.
You can do negative. You can have something that's not so bad happen in your life. You can put that up in the tower, and you could do negative alchemy on that.
Yeah.
You can turn that little golden gerbil into a stone golem up there that's chasing you around. You know what I mean? Like, these things happen. You can see things that that's not that bad.
It's
not that bad
lesson
for
you
me.
take. Yeah, it is really what you take from it.
Because I've reflected on it. I've wrangled it. I've put it in a box neatly, and I've put it in the corner. Now you give that same experience to another person. If it's not operating right, oh man, it's a whirlwind
But
up there.
I think the issue with the society now is that men don't really teach kids and adolescents.
Yeah.
It's almost frowned upon if a man wants to be in the life of an adolescent boy who's not his in some way, shape or form.
I've had some looks out and about. I worked in a primary school for 3 years. That means that my communication with younger children, it's just baked into who I was.
I am
5 days a
exactly
week.
the same.
How are you doing, young man?
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
What's this?
Yeah,
Mate,
yeah.
you get some looks as if to,
Why
get away
kids?
from my kid, you
Yeah,
pedo.
yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
looking, I'm like, take yourself out of school mode.
Yeah.
And I do understand it from a threat perspective, but also if you're a woman and you haven't got, there's no man in your household, and you are any type of connection with elder men of your community, you sever that tie. Get away from my son. He can only be around me. You're fucking up your kid.
dangerous, man.
You're
It's
gonna
really
ruin. You're in
I
the
think
process
that
of
a lot.
ruining your
I
kid.
do think that a lot.
Yeah, and so that instinct of feminine protection, which is so beautiful, it's an amazing thing. How the lengths a woman will
Their
go to
instincts are
protect her
actually bad
child.
in the sense of knowing what is good to allow around the child.
It's the balance of care and control.
yeah.
That's the king and queen balance, care and control. Because in your eyes, you're caring, and if you take that too far, you end up being a control freak who's
trying to take
micromanaging.
control, right.
Yeah, you're controlling it like, oh, well, I'm just caring for you. I know what's best for you. Here it is. I know what's best for you. I'm gonna take care of you. In actual fact, you're locked away. You've been locked away like Rapunzel up in the
Actually, you know
tower.
what? I actually know
Mother
someone
knows
like
best.
that who, really, really was mothered into their mid-20s and kind of had no idea how to operate without her.
Completely codependent.
Yeah, man. But it was her because she didn't want him to leave, kind of thing. It's not healthy at all, and I do think, because I'm the same with you. Like I taught in schools for years, so used to being in primary schools, just like when I'm out and about, you know, oftentimes when I go to the dog park, when I lived in Germany, you had like these dog parks, right?
Yeah.
And you go to the dog park.
You've
So
been about,
my
man.
thing is, I would go straight onto the ground, and I'm at the dog's level, and I'm just hanging out with the dog. And all of the humans are on their phones, like looking around,
Yeah.
maybe awkwardly talking to one another,
Yeah.
shuffling about, just kind of stay. And I'm hanging out with the dogs because I'm at the fucking dog park, right?
Yeah. You're
And
with the dogs.
All the dogs are like coming up to me, like, "Hey, what's going on? You know, you
Yeah,
all right, Dad?
yeah,
What you
yeah.
doing with the dog?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah, what's going on, dogs? Let's have some fun."
That's that lover, man.
And so when I go and like there's kids around, like, "Yo, what's going on, kids? Oh,
How you doing?
How's life? What's this? And because I would just naturally do the same with anyone,
Mm-hmm.
right? But people who aren't like that and don't have that awareness of how to talk to other people, either like different generations or the opposite sex or
Yeah.
anything like that. Again, it's that, oh, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
You know? And it's, I've had it before.
If I was going to kidnap you, I wouldn't be doing it
Yeah,
right
yeah,
in
literally,
front
yeah,
of your
yeah.
mum. Like, I'm not going to just walk up to you in the middle of, like, Iceland. Not like I'd walk up to random kids in the middle of Iceland, but, like,
Yeah.
you cross paths and
Yeah.
something happens or they come over and, they, you know, you just give them a little thumbs up. You're right, kid. Like, how are you?
yeah.
It's like, I'm not going to stuff him. I'm not going to bundle him into my trolley and run off. Like,
But this is the fear, isn't it? This
Yeah.
is the fear.
it really...
But then, you know, again, it's that as a result of all this fear, as a result of all the nerfing the edges, the cotton wool in, you
Eatable
know,
mothers, man.
then we go, no, we can't have this, we can't have that. We sterilise, we sanitise, and then there's all these issues, like societal kind of systemic issues that, as a result, are now coming to light. And it's one of those, okay, so say you're a guy and you want to try and find like a local man thing.
Yeah.
If you're not inclined to reach out,
Yeah.
it's going to feel almost impossible to do. Like going to the doctor and saying, "I have a boo boo, I have an ouchie."
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
I've ever
yeah.
said that. The doctor,
I have a boo-boo.
But you know what I mean? The very fact that you are basically claiming, yeah, we're going to wrap it up in a second. We're claiming mortality. We're claiming vulnerability. We are putting that out there.
Yeah.
You know, and in a group where, say, for example, it is a doctor or a lawyer, you are kind of have that doctor-patient confidentiality, you know, client privilege kind of shit. You feel a little bit more like you can say something, and you're paying. You know, or in some respects, or they're being paid in that way.
Yeah.
When it's just some random people who you have no idea the fuck they are, and that's why the workouts are good, because you get to see who someone is. You get to see the metal. You get to see their caliber. You get to see how much they grind, how much they moan before they've even done a thing.
When
or how
it's
much
time to
they'll-
dig deep, are they able to do the thing?
Will
When
they
they hit a
stand?
breaking point, will they start again? When things get tough, do you get narky? Do you get weird? Do you fall apart? Or do you still have the ability to cheer on your brothers through suffering? Shows a lot of character.
Do you make excuses? You know.
Yeah.
All these kind of things. So
It's a great building ground for men. It's a
and like
fantastic...
we one of the things in F3 is, well, we don't start at 5:30, but down south they start at 5:30.
Oh, do they? Yeah.
5:30 is a good dickhead filter.
That's...
As in, if you're
yeah.
getting up and it's freezing cold, -4, you're getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:30 in the morning, you're going to get, you know, have your cup of tea, get warmed up, you're going to get out there and you're going to start cracking out 100 burpees a day in January, for the entire January. Like, that's a pretty solid dude right there who's going to do that, you know?
100%.
Someone who can get up and reliably do that every single morning, and
Yeah.
not only will do it for themselves, but do it because the men next to them are also trying to do it.
Yeah.
That's someone who you maybe can talk to, open up to, get involved with more.
100%.
So we are lucky enough to have that,
Yeah.
and obviously we are working on going through the UK with it and building.
100%.
But
Trying to
obviously,
expand
one
it
thing
out.
you're working on is a concept of how to raise boys into men.
Yeah.
With the Stronghold project, and you're thinking of actionable ways.
Yeah.
Of how we can educate.
Yeah.
Not just in theory with a book, but actual do physical things, do
It's-
challenges, trials, and things.
It's knowing where you are and then doing the damn thing, because knowing is not enough. You can know all the things in the world. If you don't apply any of those things, it doesn't mean shit. It really genuinely doesn't mean shit. And I'm
So
telling
it's
you
the
from
awareness
experience.
and then learning how to actually execute.
Yes.
That's what the Stronghold project
Recognizing what these energies are, locating them, finding them out in the world, or if you don't have them in the world, in people that are alive today, you can go back into history and there's plenty of them. Yep, books,
I used to do that.
cartoons, anime. A lot of people think that non-fiction is garbage. If a story's written well, it's based on the human experience, and that's what makes it so popular, because it connects with humans in a human way. And if you get your connection from Goku, from Dragon Ball Z, or from Naruto, then so be it. As long as you can feel that energy, or if it's Leonidas in 300, yeah, man, what a great movie. Hey, if you're looking to get your warrior online, go check out 300, because you're gonna find out what warriors are all about. But it's locating them and then trying to get a connection with that energy without it overtaking you. So it's the psychological map. That's what I'm building at the moment.
So then for this week, what is the parts you've got? The king, magician, warrior, lover. What is the thing that you are going to work on the most?
So I've been doing a daily 4 sets with my friend. I guess that's warrior because it's physical activity. But for me, the magician, and it's not working on progressing the magician. It's working on bringing him back into balance, because when I regress or if I get out of balance, it's never really any of the others. Sometimes a lover, actually, tell a lie, but it's mainly the magician. It's me retreating into solitude so I can gobble up lots of knowledge, gobble up lots of information, because my knowledge is gonna change the world. And if I'm not eating and gobbling and consuming all this knowledge, how am I going to save the world?
Right.
That's the inflation of the magician.
Okay.
Now, the knowledge is okay to do, but if you don't do nothing with it, you're just sat in your room
surely you need to
gathering
work
notes.
on the warrior then, actually doing the thing. Because that's what I was thinking. I was thinking of you. I was thinking you're going to go, I need to work on the warrior. I need to work on actually doing the thing.
So the king's the opposite of the magician, and that's getting out of your detachment.
Okay.
And getting onto the main stage, walking out, being out there, having the vision, and I guess it does need warriors to do the thing. So it is a balance of all of it, really. It really is a balance of all of it. But I think king and warrior are the two that I usually try to work on more, because when I do fall back, I fall back into the magician and the lover. It's eating chocolate till I can't see anymore. Waking up with 2 6-packs of Bakewells on me. What's happened? I can't believe I'm here again. Or just rotting out and looking at entertainment. But my main thing is the craving for knowledge. Yeah. To the point where I've got enough knowledge now. Yeah. Chill your beanie babies, mate. Put the YouTube videos and podcasts down and get into the real world. You know what I mean? And that means connecting with my family also. Do you know what I mean? Because I can detach. I really can detach. So for me, it's going to be the king. Getting engaged with the people I'm around and getting boots on the ground. And that includes the warrior too. Yeah.
Nice. So I think for this week, I'm going to try and work on the lover.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think that's going to be... I don't know how, but I feel like my warrior's been warrioring for a long time. Yeah. My magician is just crazy overwhelmed all the time. And so I think, for me...
what part of the lover are you? Is it the creative, joyous aspect of it? Is it empathy? Is it understanding? Is it connection? Is it love and appreciation? Connection with other people, or connection with the world?
Yeah, I don't know. But connection.
Okay, connection. I like it.
Because earlier on when you're saying the lover's connection, I'm like, yeah, okay, I need to work on a bit of connection. Weirdly, I've kind of stepped back from some of the exercise. I've stopped climbing recently. I've stopped a lot of things to connect more with my music. And I guess with the music, I'm trying to connect with my actual idea that I'm trying to... At the moment, I'm just doing random shit. Yeah. Right? And at the moment, I'm okay with that because it's about building the habit of doing the thing. Mm-hmm. Then I can do the thing that I want to do in the way that I want to do it. But if I'm not even doing the thing in the first place, then how can I tweak it? Yeah. So first of all, I'm just getting momentum going, just building that up, but really connecting with that. What are you trying? That's what that is written up there. What are you trying to do, mate? What are you trying to say? Why? What's the actual fucking? What's your angle? Because you're not the greatest on piano. You're not the greatest on drums. You ain't the greatest singer. There are people who can sing and play keys well. What are you trying to do? So I'm trying to connect with that, and when I find my flow,
and that would definitely be the king also.
I guess that's the vision. So it's kind of, I've got it. It's hazy. It's blurry. So
Well, your vision is that you want to connect with people in certain types of ways, are you trying to connect with your vision?
I'm trying to connect with the vision. I guess it's trying to connect with what is the way that I do this. Breathe Easy Studios, or it's called Breathe Easy Music, is what it's called actually. Yeah. It should be. I like it. Yeah, Breathe Easy Studios, but I think it was taken. But the idea being that whatever goes on in this room. Yeah. So it's I was thinking about doing some body drums. I was thinking about doing coordinational challenges. Here's one for the whole family. Oh, so rather than a game that you try, you can kind of almost try sitting around and trying to do these
a join in, like a join in and try.
It's basically drums. It's drums, but it's done in such a way where you could just still do it. But it might be a bit silly, funny to try and do
an interactive, bring family.
You in. So it's exactly that. So can you do this? Okay, cool. You can do that. Okay, but can you do this? So, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. So I'm just thinking, what am I going for? Because that's not music.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but that's not. like again, this what I'm going for is a mixture of music, movement, mindset.
Yeah.
So. And that's what happens in the studio.
I think body drum
Basically,
sounds awesome.
It's cool, mate. It's
Yeah,
really good
mind
fun.
body connection,
Yeah.
low barrier to entry, not needing
Yeah,
a big drum
exactly.
kit and everything.
Yeah.
Everyone can join in,
Yeah.
and if you're doing it with you interacting backwards and forwards, you're getting that energy as well. Yeah,
And it's like, and that's a transferable skill that can lead you into dancing, can lead you into this, can lead you into. So that's kind of what I want to get across. I want to
Wicked.
educate about the human,
Yeah.
about what the human is capable of, about the mind, about the body, and so I want to connect with my way of doing that, finding my flow. Not okay. Well, there's this guy who shows how to look like a pro in 3 easy steps. He's
so
got
let me
millions of
copy
views.
that.
I'm
Like
like,
that.
that's shit. It's shit. What about? Yeah,
It's
don't
not you.
let that annoy you, mate.
Yeah.
That's what that guy's doing, and he's probably just doing it to make money, and he's probably doing really well. So don't look at that and go, that's annoying because that's not very good piano. And how is someone who just does that and it's really like, I'm like, no, he's found his niche, he's got his thing.
He's doing
like,
his thing.
Don't worry about that. You do what you got to do.
Yeah.
And that's what I've got to try and connect with.
Oh, that's definitely lover as well. Like not
yeah,
depreciating others and just appreciating like, hey, you're doing what you're doing, man. Like, you do your thing.
So that's what I'm trying to get to, and a point
Okay.
of where I really love what it is that I'm doing, and I'm really enjoying it. And
you.
so again, it's not a case of are people watching it? Do others like it? I'm like, I'm having a laugh. I'm having a whale of a time.
Yeah.
I am loving this shit.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna do it just for me.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, that's
and
lovely,
so
for sure.
that's kind of the stage. So there are funny things that I'm doing, and I'm just having a bit of a laugh, and I'm actually getting the recording and going, oh, you know, and I'm enjoying part of the process. And it's just as long as it doesn't get me, you know, that warrior element. I've got to churn it out. I've got to do it because my warrior's tired, man.
I think it's really hard for a lot of people to do something and create something just because they enjoy doing it, as opposed to having to have these standards and having to, I've got to knock this out here, I've got to do this, or I've got to do this perfectly and I've got to do that.
Being a professional in that way, you know, it's not like I'm going into woodworking where I have no background and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'm doing something that I used to teach and get money for. You know, I used to teach teachers how to teach.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I wrote a whole syllabus. I wrote a whole, like, you know, I did a whole
You've done the thing, man.
So for me then to just be really shit at it, it's just kind of,
See,
doesn't sit well with me.
That's a very good thing. So as your skill goes up, especially if you've peaked at a certain time as well, I reckon it's much harder to just keep back and enjoy. So when I was playing World of Warcraft in arenas, I was pretty good. I did all right. Well, now I'm a casual, and I haven't got nowhere near as much time on there. If I just pop on and have a go, it's much harder for me to just keep back and enjoy because now I'm getting.
You know what you
it's like,
exactly.
2 years ago these guys would be getting smoked. My stuff's off. It's not where it should be, and then you get out of the. Hey, I'm just having fun here.
So
I'm just enjoying
the music side of things is the realm that I want to have down.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with not being as fit. You know, I'm okay with my press ups and my pull ups take a hit. I'm okay if certain things take a hit. But no, in the world that, like, in terms of what are you fucking shit hot at?
Yeah.
Timing, music, coordination. That's me.
So, with you being, do you think the hotter shit you need to be at this, the better you need to be? Do you reckon that impacts your ability to enjoy it? So
No,
are you trying to get to a certain
I
level where
think when I do what it is that's in my brain,
you get the peak
I
of it?
will be like, because I love watching you play. When I play, oftentimes it's like I'm channeling an energy.
Yeah.
Versus I'm not reading a thing. I'm not trying to play a thing. All I'm doing is sitting at the keys and just letting loose.
Just going.
And what happens. I call it musical Tourette's. So the idea being that I am not trying to do anything except play.
You're in the flow state.
And then, whatever. And so I do things like, oh, mate, that was well fucking cool. I shock myself. I enjoy watching myself sometimes.
Yeah.
From that first person, real time perspective, because it's like, it's not me.
It's not even you.
You know? And so there's times I've written tracks and I say, I can't even take credit for the track because I wrote it in a half dreamy, hazy state. And the melody came to me, everything came to me, the lyrics came to me, and I got out of bed and wrote it down. That wasn't me sitting down going, okay, today we're going to write a song.
Yeah.
It was just
Something outside of yourself just coming through.
can't, you know, you
That's
can't
channeling the
explain it.
energies, man.
So that literally is about channeling energies in a way and harnessing it. And then, so for me, it is about basically having my skills so fucking sharp that whatever it is that is needed, whatever that is there, and it comes out. And so that's why I'm upset and disappointed when I'm like, oh man, you can do that. You know you can do that. What's up, you know? And so that's why for me, it's not like I'm trying to be the fastest or the mostest or the thisest or the thatest. It's I want to make it look magically, effortlessly beautiful.
Yeah, you just want to
Sort of
achieve that
thing, like,
mastery.
I could easily do that, and then try and do it. Holy shit, that's
actually
so
hard.
much more difficult than I thought.
Oh man, have you seen like old school bricklayers? Oh man.
Oh, yeah.
Or plasterers.
Literally.
High level.
Anything we just...
I think I could do that.
art, you know. And so to make it look so effortless, but also to make points about life.
Yeah.
That's what I'm also going for, to make points about stuff. So one of the things, for example, I want to make a point of, okay, this is you. You do your thing every day. You have your routine every day. And now you meet someone and you're thinking, maybe I can sneak a bit of time with this person over here. So you think, I'm going to, but as soon as you think that, look what happens over here, you fucked up.
Yep.
Do you think that someone didn't notice you just fucked up? Now, they might not know why you fucked up, but they know that you fucked up. And now they're going to keep an ear out for you. And so basically anything musically, just trying to explain it in such a way that it can explain aspects of life.
That's really cool.
So that's what I'm aiming for.
Yeah.
But
Some cool riffs
we
like
are
that
done
back in
for
track.
this week. So I'm going to work on the Lover. You are going to work on the King Warrior.
King and Warrior,
Yeah,
for sure.
and we will be back with episode 4.
What are you going to be working on? That's the question.
Yeah, what are you going to be working on?
How do you eat yours?
Basil.